Start it. So I'm here now. Hi, welcome. Thanks. Sorry I'm late. I have been working on the computer. It's not this one. This is the last day that the jittery video should be happening because I have a little bit of it's a long story. But tomorrow I need to get this computer project done before radio tomorrow because that's actually the most difficult technologically, as far as the shows that I do, of all of them. So I've been running around. Hi, welcome. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all the stuff I'm supposed to say as a professional live streamer now. Thanks, Delta variant. I do have some shows coming up. Monday, I will be doing a Zoom show for Flappers. Wednesday, I will be doing a live show in the club at Burbank. I will also be live streaming it to fans and friends out there who normally watch this show on the YouTube channel, and links will be at the Patreon. That said, I've got a lot of tinkering to do around the edges in terms of this, and I've been thinking over the last, I've been mainlining a bunch of punditry over the last couple of days, both the allegedly supportive crowd and the obvious opponents, and I seem to see two bifurcating strategies here. On the opponent side, the obvious action they are taking is to live focus group some catchphrases or their particular angle on the exit from Afghanistan and try to test phrases. Like we saw Sean Hannity, for example, use behind enemy lines yesterday and the day before. And so he's going to be using that one. That's I got a clip coming up where that's literally what his graphic says now. So they are all in on that one. The other one you're going to hear a lot on that side is this is impeachable, he should resign, which is they're going to say that about everything negative. Seriously, everything negative, they're all, they should be on. Our live stream should be up, all those things. Stream finished, what happened? Oh no. Dismiss, what happened? Stream finished. Oh no. Hold on 1 second, let me see if there should be a restream problem maybe. No, I'm up. 5 minutes. Oh, I see. There's another, what in the world? I'll turn this off and then turn Twitch back on. It was acting weird. Sending data. Okay, it seems to be, is Twitch working? Very strange. Okay. It looks like all of the channels are up. Everybody's good? Okay. Sometimes I get a little bit of a delayed message from you guys, and there you go. Yeah, it's a new live stream. Twitch is now, you're on YouTube and Facebook, but not Twitch. Yeah, Twitch says, right now, Twitch says, oh, there it is. Now it's online. Twitch is now online. I was getting a sending data error message or something, which is when I send the show out and a giant technological badminton racket goes not so fast. So welcome Twitch and everybody else. Now where was I? Oh yes, the right winger are focus grouping their catchphrases and their bumper stickers about our Afghan withdrawal, which by the way, expect those things to show up in the bargain bin in about 3 weeks. Everything that they're pushing right now, which is the main ones I've seen are Biden should resign. This is an impeachable offense, and Americans are behind enemy lines, and that's the. And the Taliban's the enemy. How can we negotiate with the enemy? None of which they seem to concerned about when last year Trump was quote unquote negotiating with the enemy when he invited the Taliban to this peace deal, which was really a withdrawal deal, and didn't involve the Afghan government. And then of course, I guess when he negotiates with people like Kim Jong-un and stuff, it's just smart to do. When anybody else does it, it's a sign of weakness. And then the behind enemy lines thing, we now know there was no plan to remove the special immigrant visa folks from Afghanistan, and Trump's ultimate plan that was to be carried out by Stephen Miller, it appears, if they had won re-election, which they didn't, fair and square, was to simply abandon them. Was May 1st, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya, that was it. Bye, fuckers. That was the whole plan. So we're going to take a look today at a couple of things. Let me jump over here real quick. This is, the title of this one is Glenn, Biden's impeachable response to Afghanistan is not us. And by us, I guess he means this guy. And Hannity, there's the America behind enemy lines thing. Mark Levin is on Rudy's show. That's funny. And Trump calls in to local radio guys. Hilarity ensues. By the way, don't let me forget to tell you about the place that Trump is going to be doing his rally in, because I have a special emotional connection to that fucking place, and it's I will try to hold it together. And then, of course, we'll get a little bit of a glimpse of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz at their little like PTA meeting. You know, it's a wide room. You know, the seats are a little light, but you know. And then in case we really are hanging in there at the end of the show, Karl Rove joins the number of people who we are hearing on both Fox Business, Fox Live, CNN, especially, who were people who got us into the Afghanistan war and kept us there for 20 years. Now saying this is a mess. Look, as messy as this is, nothing is messier than having been, president the last 4 years and stayed when nothing changed in 4 years, nothing at all. So there you go. Congrats, Cosmic Rose, that's awesome. No on the Newsom recall. I agree, 100%. Okay, and then apparently we have a new Saturday Night Live character in the bidding. But first, let's go to Americans behind enemy lines. Obviously, you know, these guys are scary. Never mind the fact that they kind of look like an indie rock band, but for the M4s or the M16, I don't know. I don't know what that guy's rifle is. Is that a Krig? I don't know. Anyways, so but Americans stranded in Afghanistan as Biden plans another long weekend. That's the he has a long weekend dealing with Afghanistan. But let's see how many sippy cup references we have. It's now time for another episode of Sean Hannity Shits on America.
Crap behind enemy
hold on. I'm gonna turn this.
Pretty much, well, they're being held at the whim of the Taliban. Yes, a terrorist organization. On Sunday, the entire country of Afghanistan fell to the Taliban as Joe Biden gears up.
There's a lot of sniffing again. We're back to the sniffing. Hold on, I got to make this a little smaller so it fits on the screen here with the because there's a little bit of stuff around the edges. I know you're not going to want to miss. I mean, they spent a good $19 for their graphics, so we don't want to waste them.
At another long.
Oh, gun, terrible. Guns are terrible. Said no Fox viewer ever.
In Delaware. Wow. Only the.
Wow.
Hamid Karzai International Airport remains under U.S. control.
Yeah, where's Hamid Karzai right now? Oh.
Hour tonight, thousands of Americans and thousands of our allies hopelessly stranded.
Hopelessly? Hopelessly. Are they hopelessly stranded? Or is there a strategy playing out? So they're hopelessly stranded because what, Sean? Our military is ineffectual and shitty, and we'll never try to get them out, and nothing's working. And the French are getting their folks out. Where are they getting them out to, Sean? To the airport we've secured to get their people out on our airplanes, but hopelessly. Please turn up the volume. Yeah, his is kind of low. Sorry about that. Yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. We'll bring it up. Sorry.
All over the country.
Ooh, that's loud.
We said behind enemy lines. At this hour, the Biden administration, they still don't know exactly how many. Joe's estimating about 15,000.
No, they're estimating about 11,000. We've gotten out about 9,000, and we don't know because a lot of people aren't coming forward. There's not everybody there that's an American is embassy staff or military and plans on leaving. That's the watery area.
Don't know where they're located. They can't even tell us exactly how many have been evacuated, and worse.
Why would they?
Of all, they have zero plan to rescue any Americans, and according to the Wall Street,
zero plan to rescue any Americans. Hear that, military? That's what Sean Hannity thinks of you. Zero plan to rescue any Americans. Apparently, never leaves anybody behind. Has turned into fuck America. That's is the plan. Jesus.
Journal. This is the.
According to Rupert Murdoch's paper, the return of America held hostage. Some 15,000 U.S. citizens and residents are behind Taliban lines. There's no easy way to get them out. That's a long way, Sean, from easy way to get them out versus no one's going to even bother to try.
Return of America held hostage. Some 15,000 U.S. citizens.
Yeah, this is like Jimmy Carter all over again. If only the ghost of Reagan could come and free them all after negotiate. I guess how many guns will he have to promise to give to the Taliban before?
Residents are behind Taliban lines, and there's
Taliban lines. Just say enemy. It doesn't.
No easy way to get them out. That's just a fact.
Well, yeah, it's fucking Afghanistan. You know what else? There's no easy way to get out of. Fucking Afghanistan! You fire plug. By the way, this is all very serious. The Afghan withdrawal, the people who are in danger. All my laughter is aimed at these assholes who, I guess, apparently believe they should be taken seriously on this topic. I refuse to. Fuck them. Full stop.
It to get that bad, and as we speak, there are other countries at least trying. And they're
At least trying. The Americans aren't even trying. You could see a soldier pulling a baby up over barbed wire yesterday, and they pushed back and they went over the wall and pulled in 167 Americans yesterday. But not even then. Is that really trying?
In their citizens with their special forces. For example, the British.
Where are they getting those folks to once the special forces get them out, Sean? Where are they taking them? Where are they taking them? Who's going to actually get them out of the country? Sean.
Calling it.
We are.
Operation Pitting. But the.
Operation Pitting? What was Operation Pimento already taken?
The United States, as of now, has no such program. In a press conference, the Department of Defense told us that the U.S. military is under orders to protect the Karzai International Airport. And that is
a lot of sniffing, Sean. Did you get a new dose of the? Is there a drug that makes you stupid and turns you orange? Because I think I know who your dealer is.
According to the State Department in a memo, quote, the United States government cannot ensure safe passage to the Hamid Karzai International Airport.
They did. The State Department did have an easier time saying it, though. And also, it's fucking Afghanistan. Do you think our soldiers, the entire time they were there, wore bulletproof vests because it made it cooler?
Suggesting people might think about going there, but we can't provide you safe passage there. So we're securing an airport that people will take great risks to get to. Only someone as stupid as Joe Biden could come up.
You do realize you were making points about helicopters leaving the embassy grounds with people in them, which you compared to Saigon, but also apparently seemed to miss the idea that that seems to be a planned exercise to remove Americans in Kabul to the airport and not just go, guys, if you're not here by 3:30, we're going to have to, I don't know, we'll put you in with baggage.
The plan like that. Of course, now he's going on vacation again. According to reports, the Biden administration.
No, he's not going on vacation again. They're going back to Camp David. I actually am not sure they're even going back to Camp David. I think that's been scrapped. But it's not like Camp David is, Mar-a-Lago.
They're looking for what they call non-military ways to move Americans to the airport past the Taliban. Okay, I'd like to know what that might be. What are the plans?
Well, if they tell you, you'll tell the Taliban because you like those guys. They're buddies of your buddy. The friend of my friend is my friend, right, Sean?
Look at your screen because this is what it looks like outside of the airport.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Run that by me again, Sean. Were those balloons? Hold on. Wait a minute. There we go. Sorry, I was on the wrong computer. Uh-huh. I just need to look at something real quick.
Look at your screen, because this is what it looks like.
Cotton candy or balloons? What is it? I'm going with cotton candy. They're too bright to be shrimp chips. Look at your screen. This is the horror. Our assholes in the booth chose some footage with fucking cotton candy in it. Or balloons. Yeah, I don't know which. I don't know how to ask. It looks like candy in bags. It looks like snacks in bags. It's cotton candy. It's just whipped sugar with coloring. Yeah, that's my guess. Shit. Is Nugent playing the Taliban State Fair this year? I know they're big fans. Dude, I asked for an elephant ear. Not a real elephant ear. It's you put powdered... fuck it. Fucking... Sean, goddamn. If you're going to pick the world is burning, the hell is upon us, try to steer clear of giant sticks with cotton candy bags on them. Son of a bitch. Honest, how much footage do they have? You couldn't get that out? You couldn't... Look at this. That's like the guy in the blue outfit yesterday going, hey, yay! Hey, yay! As the plane is leaving, they're like, look at these desperate people.
Side of the airport, it is...
Is that a Christmas tree? Son of a bitch. If I found out that they've got both cotton candy...
screen, because this is what it looks like.
Cotton candy.
Side of the airport.
And Christmas trees. I don't know what the fuck is going on. What changed, Taliban? When did you start liking Christmas and state fairs?
It is chaos. It is carnage.
Yes, I always prefer my carnage with cotton candy.
Fighters viciously beating, whipping, stabbing crowds.
Yeah, again, cut to the footage of people being beaten, whipped, or stabbed, if you indeed have it, not the people sort of orderly standing around in a giant group not being fired upon.
Seemingly doing it at random. Shots ring out constantly.
It's fucking Afghanistan!
Men are...
Yeah, wait a minute. Sean, your argument is there's a place in the world where shots ring out constantly and we should stay there.
On the back of pickup trucks. Even American journalists have come under attack. Take a look.
You can see that some of these
yeah.
Taliban fighters, they're just...
Not because she's just randomly wandering around. She's doing a report. She's brave as fuck. If Sean Hannity tries to steal some of her valor from his fucking well-polished seat in New York...
hopped up on adrenaline, or I don't know what. It's a very dicey situation.
Suddenly, two other Taliban charge towards us. You can see their rifle butt raised to strike producer Brent Swales. When the fighters are told we have permission to report, they lower their weapons and let us pass.
Okay, Sean, this does not make your case for you. When the Taliban fighters were told that we have permission to film, they lowered their guns and let us pass. Did you hear that? I mean, understand the entire narrative that Sean Hannity is pushing right here, that there is no plan, the people behind enemy lines are hopeless. And yet, when somebody told these fighters that they were allowed to film, they went, oh, fuck it, okay, cool, all right, sorry to bother you. They lowered their guns and let us pass. Maybe that's why we currently don't have military brigades going through the streets to extract people, because we don't need them, and it would be unnecessarily provocative towards these large gatherings of incels posing as Taliban.
Okay, now we're going. Get in the car.
God help every American that's there now.
Yeah, God help them. Have someone who speaks Arabic to apparently go, we're allowed to go through here. Oh, okay, cool. All right, see you later.
You can see this is now beyond dangerous. Anyone making their
It's Afghanistan.
the airport. They are literally putting their life in the hands of the same vicious terrorists, that allowed the plotting and planning and scheming of 9/11 to...
You know what they also plotted and schemed and planned was the American exit with the former president. Sean. That's what they also plotted and schemed. They had a big meeting about it, actually. Trump actually broke one of them out of jail so they could be part of the meeting.
2001, but according to Joe Biden, it's all going according to plan. Knock on wood. Take a look at this.
Now, granted, it took 2 days to take control of the airport. We have control of the airport now.
Still a lot of pandemonium outside the airport.
Well, there is, but look, but no one's being killed right now. God forgive me if I'm wrong about that, but no one's being killed right now.
No one's being killed right now.
Yeah, they aren't. That's why we're trying to get the fuck out. I'm sorry, Sean. Would you be happier if people were dying? Would it give you better footage? Is this part of the problem? Isn't this really part of the problem for Sean and everybody? Is that they don't have the bloodshed video? Because that's the problem. There's a bunch of people leaving. There's a bunch of people making their way through. There's some harrowing moments. But at no point have we had any major shooting, and there's people firing guns in the air half the time because, yay, we took over, kapow, kapow. And somebody's walking over going, dude, easy. We don't have that many bullets.
Well, you're wrong about that. People are being killed and beaten and whipped and stabbed at checkpoints. We have reports Taliban fighters are blocking many from even getting through, and that yet
Who?
Americans are being told to attempt to get there, but they can't.
Yeah. Now, the assumption from that sentence, what are we supposed to take away from what Sean just said? That Americans are being beaten, stabbed, and turned away from checkpoints and aren't being able to cross. That's what that sentence is supposed to make you think. Right? Now, they're not, but other Afghans who may have been soldiers that fought or pushed against it, or there was a shuffling a crowd, or the Taliban checkpoint they were at was, a particularly gnarly one, and there was an outbreak of pushing, shoving, gunfight, whatever. That particular element, what you do is you conflate those two together, and then Sean can maybe just stir together some version of events where we should stay.
Protected. There's no guarantee of safety.
It's Afghanistan. Sean, did Sean go to Afghanistan? He may have. He may have gone. Let's see. Can I just see? Let's see. Let's grab this guy over here. We'll drag this over here. In Afghanistan. This is a possibility, right? Did he? Is there any footage of him? Did he ever go over there? No, that's funny, Sean. I don't see any Sean Hannity pictures. If anybody can find one, please send me pictures of Sean Hannity having gone to Afghanistan. Let's see. However, I don't have pictures of Sean Hannity in Afghanistan. I do have pictures of Rachel Maddow in Afghanistan. See, she's wearing a bulletproof vest right here. This right here, because she's press. And the reason she's wearing this is because even though she's on a forward operating base, even though she's inside this particular base at this time, even though she's surrounded by armed people all the time, at no point could they guarantee her safety. This was Camp Phoenix in Afghanistan. This is inside. There she is. There she is outside. Now, why is she wearing this? There's a bunch of American soldiers in this. Look at this helicopter right here. There's a lot of dirt around here. Why is she wearing all this stuff? I'll tell you why. Because no one can guarantee your safety in fucking Afghanistan. Notice, and by the way, any footage, please find, did he go? Did he go? Nothing on Google about Hannity going there. Nothing. A lefty lesbian went, apparently, but Sean Hannity, He was too busy being, I guess, client number 3 to Michael Cohen, whose only job as a lawyer seems to be paying off sexual harassment and abortion claims. Weird.
Flights are taking off half empty. Joe Biden doesn't.
U.S. Air Force C-17 evacuation flights leaving Kabul airport nearly half empty. Yeah, the top half, you know how they're like 18 feet tall? People can't stand on their shoulders, so...
Seem to realize the magnitude of what is going on and what led to this mess. And
I know what led to this mess. Trump pretending he was going to get us out and staying in for 4 years.
oh, it could have been prevented. Take a look.
It could have been prevented. Yes, we could have never gone to Afghanistan, or the magic plan that Trump was going to use to get us out could have been implemented 3 fucking years ago.
What happens now in Afghanistan? Do you believe the Taliban have changed?
No. I think, let me put it this way. I think they're going through sort of an existential crisis about, do they want to be recognized by the international community as being a legitimate government? I'm not sure they do. But look, I'm not sure I would have...
Why'd you cut off the rest of that, Sean? We got more of that wonderful Sean Hannity editing. Cut off context. And this is why, by the way, I do long-form clips and interviews. Like when they do a full version of something, I do the whole thing. When we do it, when Sean Hannity and Fox News put up a clip of Sean Hannity show, we do the whole thing. Now, why do we do that? So that I can never be accused of putting words in Sean Hannity's mouth or being anywhere near it, or cutting him off or chopping something out so that it makes him look like more of an asshole, if that's possible at all, and I doubt it.
Think to George, nor would you or anyone else, that when we decided to leave, that they provide safe passage for Americans to get out.
Existential crisis, safe passage from terrorists.
Dude, you just showed a female reporter from CNN getting safe passage. Some assholes came up, got violent. Somebody said they're allowed to be here, and they let them stay. They let them continue to report and pass through. That's exactly what fucking happened.
Okay, when you saw that the Taliban took over 10% of the country, 20% of the country, 30% of the country, 40% of the country.
Why didn't you send in 100,000 troops so we could stay there for another 25 years? Right, Sean?
Why was there no urgency then?
There was. It started to speed up. And as it got worse, the more we retracted, the more they moved in because the Afghan forces and the government... You're an idiot. Why am I explaining this? Look who I'm talking to, Mr. SATs.
Does this, look safe to you, Joe Biden?
Yeah, it looks fairly safe, actually, right there. It's a weird thing. Again, odd choice of footage. Can we go back to the dude with cotton candy?
You make your way back to Delaware. Would you want one of your loved ones outside of that airport, behind enemy lines, getting pistol whipped, getting beaten, getting shot, or just in fear of all the above?
Sean, would you like anyone who's in fear for their life currently in Afghanistan to be allowed to come and stay with you? I think that's the real question.
Screen. These are Afghan families literally passing their babies over a wall covered with razor wire, begging the British to take their children because they know that their children...
The British? The British? What? I'm sorry, Sean, I can't tell from your accent. What country are you from again?
Will be murdered by the Taliban if they don't get inside of that airport. Think how desperate a mother or father would have to be to do such a thing, but they do it because that's all they think they can do to save their kids.
Really? Geez, it's almost like you're talking about the southern fucking border. Imagine being a mother or father who sends your infant child out into the desert on the southern border of America, hoping they are picked up by the Americans and they don't just die in the fucking desert. Imagine being that desperate. And imagine being that dumb to not recognize this direct parallel.
Because they know how the...
Imagine a parent being so desperate that they build a $5 ladder to climb over a slat fence.
The Taliban is all about, and how they treat people. Now, there's...
You mean like Mexican cartels, for example? Seriously, how fucking dumb? How dumb is this asshole? I mean, it's not like we could capture this and play it back to him and go, dude, how do you say that and not say that about the southern border? How do you not recognize the obvious parallels? Like, he's too thick to know he's being this big of an asshole. Seriously.
Safe passage, not for the Afghan people.
Not for the Guatemalans, not for the Hondurans, not for the women and children from Mexico who are... What? I'm sorry, I missed the part where you gave a shit. I must have scrubbed past that.
Not for Americans, not for the allies, not for the interpreters that we promised we'd protect, and now we're witnessing what is...
I'm sorry, what was the plan to get the interpreters out by May 1st, Sean? And by the way, this attack, from the Taliban, started May 2nd, effectively. It genuinely started May 2nd. Even in spite of the fact that we pushed the deadline a little bit. Last year, they planned May 2nd we go. And it's super obvious. The timeline from May 2nd, there's a quickening that takes a couple of months, mostly through the middle of June is when it really starts to get a force accelerator. They start taking certain places, widen it out, and then they start moving north, and then they start surrounding places, and then they start pulling in. The strategic planning for this attack was planned last year to start May 2nd. Why is May 1st a significant date, Sean? I'm sure you read something about it.
The biggest hostage situations in the history of the U.S. and the biggest...
Weird. You mean kind of like if China attacked us with COVID on purpose, Donald Trump oversaw the largest amount of deaths by a bioweapon in Earth's history?
Military debacle in the history of the U.S., and you have a president so checked out that he's spending most of his spare hours on vacation with no plan except that, well, the Taliban has said that they're going to allow safe passage to the airport when we know that's not happening, considering...
Yeah, it is happening. Not only is it happening, female reporters from CNN are walking the streets, doing interviews, doing live video.
Have multiple checkpoints. They have surrounded the entire perimeter of the airport and no...
Seriously, at what point, Taliban, what point are you going to hire this guy? I mean, this is the greatest audition I've ever seen. If you want a Taliban spokesperson, honestly, you get this guy in a turban, what more do you need? You know what I mean? And the best thing about it is, obviously, he has a tendency to knock his head on hard surfaces, considering his thought processes. So having that extra padding around his head would be really useful. Maybe you could just get him to wear a bike helmet as well.
Is getting through.
Seriously, Sean Hannity is auditioning to become the spokesperson for the Taliban at this point.
Lest they get Taliban permission, and even worse, so many innocent souls are already dead. But according to Biden, this is really much ado about nothing, apparently. Take a look.
We've all seen the pictures. We've seen those hundreds of people packed into a C-17. We've seen Afghans falling.
That was 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
Well, you don't think this could have been handled? This actually could have been handled better in any way? No mistakes?
No, I don't think it could have been handled in a way that we're going to go back in hindsight and look, but the idea that somehow there's a way to have gotten out without chaos ensuing, I don't know how that happens.
Well, you could have done it before they made their march to Kabul.
Oh, yeah? You could. There you go, Sean. Finally offering a piece of advice. So you could have gotten all the people out, shut down our embassy, and left, which really would have shored up the Afghan government and the forces that would have pushed back against them. You could have just shut down the embassy and got everybody out when they'd only taken 10% of the country, so that as a big signal to the Taliban that we have no faith in these assholes. Move faster. You know what I mean? I think you guys are dragging ass. We're getting the fuck out. Get up here as soon as you can.
Didn't have to give them Bagram Air Force Base either.
We didn't give them Bagram Air Force Base. We took Bagram Air Force Base, and then we gave it to the Afghans, and then the Afghans didn't use it. We didn't give it to anybody.
Have acted earlier. It didn't have to go chaotically. It could have gone very smoothly.
It really? Really? It could have gone very smoothly? Then why didn't it last year, Sean? Or the year before that? Or the year before that? What was different? Sean, what was different in Afghanistan last year this time? Or the year before that? As a matter of fact, COVID would have been the perfect reason to finally get those final forces out of Afghanistan. We could have literally said, it's too dangerous, we can't have our embassy personnel there, we're recalling all of our embassy personnel, we're recalling all of our military people, because it's just too dangerous. Oops, oh sorry, there's a, beg your pardon? There's an echo. Thanks. Right?
Could have been employed. We could have had a plan to extract, identify every American and get them out weeks before.
And where in that, by the way, they were doing that weeks before, but besides that fact, what part of that doesn't also inform their neighbors or members of the Taliban who had already been working with the Afghan government? Because we also knew that they were getting information. That's why we stopped giving them intel.
Biden said that a Taliban takeover, well, was not inevitable. Joe was just telling that.
Well, yeah, because if the U.S. president came in before they'd done it and said, yeah, this is inevitable. I mean, the Taliban are going to fuck this place up. How long do you think it would have taken them then? You think there would have been a bigger rush to get the fuck out?
A couple of weeks ago, he was reassuring the American people that the Afghan army, one of the most capable, well-trained armies in the world, and that they even had an air force, and that there are only 75,000 Taliban.
And cotton candy. Don't forget cotton candy. 74,000 Taliban, obviously winning some hearts and minds. This is clearly gunfire, but to mitigate that, they've also got cotton candy. Again, with the cotton candy footage, we're cycling back through this, asshole? Really, Sean?
The Taliban makes their march, and every step of the way, Joe apparently didn't notice. He said there'd be no...
He didn't notice?
Chaotic scenes at the U.S. Embassy in Kabul with helicopters, scenes similar to the fall of Saigon.
Yeah, that's not from the actual embassy, by the way.
In 75.
Yeah, show us that footage. Sean, show the footage show the chaotic exit at the embassy. Show that.
We have those scenes.
Yeah.
And then he pulled American soldiers out in the middle of the night. He abandoned Bagram Air Base. He dismantled Trump's contingency in crisis.
His continuancy? He filed for a continuancy?
Abandoned Bagram Air Base. He dismantled Trump's contingency in crisis.
Yeah, it was Your Honor, my client and I would like to file for a continuancy. We do not have the necessary papers for the Afghan removal. My client is expecting a package in the mail any day now.
Response Bureau.
Biden moved to dismantle protections for citizens trapped overseas months before Kabul's fall memo.
Back in June, he dismantled that.
June? Wait. Isn't June after May 1st? I don't know. I think my calendar's broken.
Set up by President Trump and Secretary of State Pompeo
sorry, set up by who?
Provide aviation, logistics, medical support to Americans if they get trapped abroad. Why would you?
If they get trapped abroad?
Gotten rid of that program.
Well, we didn't. That's why you were showing helicopters.
And Joe stood by and did nothing as the Taliban made all of these rapid advances.
Well, obviously, they did something. They shut down Bagram Air Force Base and got the fuck out. We destroyed all of the useful equipment that we couldn't take with us. We removed all our military personnel. We evacuated citizens. We're not going to stay there, so why would we?
All over the country in the past 2 months. They acted like it wasn't happening.
Did they? Because, I like this. I like the graphic, Sean. This is a good choice. I'm for it. Look at what is this? The FDD's Long War Journal. Fox Dumbass Delivery System. I don't know what that stands for. But these are Taliban Control from July 10th, 2021. This is, because it looks a lot like Arkansas's COVID cases. I just think it's, we've hit 666. in the chat room. You know what time that is. Time for $6.66 super chats if you feel like it, if you're so moved. Also, like and subscribe, thumbs up. And don't forget, trolls, we appreciate you being here, especially on Facebook, because you help us spread further than the regular viewers ever could. Because just by watching, you bump us up in the algorithm. And then once you start typing or give us a thumbs down or some sort of a negative, little graphic, you throw an emoji or a GIF in there, that actually helps even more because, see, Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and all these things, they don't care if you like the show, just if it motivates you to stay watching and start typing. Anything you type actually benefits the show. So, I mean, obviously, if you're a bigot and you start using racial epithets and stuff like that, we're gonna kick you to the curb and stuff. But anybody else, if you just call me names or whatever, it's totally cool because, like I said, it boosts us. So, thank you again. I can't thank you enough, really. I mean, we've gained, I think, 2,000 viewers in the last week and a half just because on subscribers on YouTube. Just because of the trolls. So thank you very much. Yeah, trolls, don't forget to give a thumbs down. Please give us a thumbs down or whatever. Ratio it or whatever your Reddit thread says is mean.
Colonel State Department cable in July.
Seriously, I think in maybe 8 more years, someone will start to give a shit about what you think. I wouldn't count on it. I would get a day job. But hang in there. Maybe that trolling money will come back.
I actually warned of Kabul's imminent collapse.
July memo shows that administration measures caution about Taliban's quick advance. Yeah, that's why they sped things up and why we continued our commitment to get the fuck out. So what does that mean, Sean? We stay longer? Literally, the honest intel. The honest intel was like, Trump signed a deal with the Taliban last year, so May 2nd, they were going to start marching across this fucking place. They didn't give a fuck anymore. And the Afghan government was cut out, and the Afghan forces weren't going to fight back. So we can stick around and watch our people die if you want, or we can pack everybody up and get the fuck out. It's going to be noisy, but we got to go. I mean, why is Sean Hannity confused by adult decisions?
Joe did nothing, and now we're experiencing.
Well, obviously he did something. We've evacuated 17,000 people.
What is the single worst foreign policy crisis and debacle ever. The lives of thousands of Americans are literally in the hands of evil terrorists.
Evil terrorists? That's a hell of a way to talk about people that Trump had a meeting with just last year and didn't talk to the Afghan government. Let's see. Trump, peace deal with Taliban. Spoke to him on the phone, actually. Talked to him regularly. There you go. There you go. So, the evil terrorists, right? They're evil terrorists. Evil. Evil. So as to say evil. Hold on one second. Obviously.
Dr. Evil.
Not quite. I wouldn't give them. I don't think any of them have gotten through school. As criticism of the chaotic Afghanistan withdrawal continues to build, President Biden has argued the effectively little choice in the matter. Deal with President Trump cut with the Taliban last year. Oh, look, there's a hyperlink. Let's check it out. Was Biden handcuffed by Trump's Taliban deal in Doha? 18 months later, let's see. Optimistically proclaimed, we think we'll be successful in the end. This was Trump when he signed a peace deal with the Taliban in February of 2020. You know, when we had 14 cases and it was just going to go to 0 of COVID. Remember that too? There was, he was just hit after hit after hit. February, March, that is peak Trump. 14 cases, one lady's she's got the sniffles, she'll be fine. Turns out to be a guy and he died. And those 14 cases led to the deaths of over 500,000 Americans just while he was president, much less the residuals that are caused by the fact that even though his followers would crawl through broken glass to give him a rusty trombone, none of them will take his vaccine because they don't trust it, because they obviously know he's a shoddy businessman and a shitty deal maker, and it concerns them when it comes to injections, I guess. I don't know. But please, tell us again how these are evil people.
Afghan partners, they have been abandoned and left for dead, and I can promise you those left behind will die. Gruesome deaths.
Gruesome deaths, you promise? You know these guys better than I do. You've never been there, but obviously you talk regularly.
Allies rightly no longer trust us. Our enemies are...
Our allies don't trust us? then why are they using our planes to get out of Afghanistan?
Emboldened, billions of dollars in U.S. weapons. They didn't have a plan to remove them or at least destroy them. You know.
Yeah, these are the Afghan weapons. It won't matter after a while. They were going to have them anyways. And?
Vision goggles.
None of those, night vision goggles.
Planes, helicopters.
Yeah, the planes and helicopters, they don't know how to fly and that have been sitting derelict apparently for quite some time because even the Afghan military weren't using them.
Up-armored vehicles, yeah, that you paid for. They're now in the hands of the Taliban. That makes them even stronger. And today, Joe Biden...
Yeah, good luck with that.
No public events again. Called a lid. I'm done at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, because he has meetings with the military stuff. He's actually discussing strategy. They're making decisions, that kind of stuff, actual president shit. Whereas your guy would have stood out there all day and blathered at the press how it wasn't his fault and then gone and done a rally.
No press briefing. I guess Jen Psaki's back on vacation because we didn't hear from her.
You didn't have to. He did his own press conference today.
Heard a word.
It's a serious thing, so you don't have to use the press agent to do that.
Kamala Harris in more than a week, and thousands of American lives.
She was at the press conference today, but this might be from last night, so you could be forgiven for being dumb.
Are at risk at this hour, and the Biden administration is completely, totally detached and out to lunch.
Completely, totally detached and out to lunch. Completely, totally detached. I mean, this is, hyperbole being what it is. It's spectacular. Completely and totally detached and out to lunch. That's, how are they even getting the food in their mouth? That's what I want to know. Let's see. Let's see. Biden update on Afghanistan. We'll just see if I just want to see if they're completely and totally out to lunch. I just want to check that real quick, if I may. Well, I don't know if he eats lunch at the podium. Maybe so. I've been known to eat tuna fish standing over the sink, like any single guy, at times in my life. We will get you home, Biden tells Americans in Kabul and vows to help Afghan allies. President Trump said, President Trump, listen to me. President Biden said on Friday that his administration, I'm reading all these articles from last year to rebut, and yeah. President Biden said on Friday that his administration is focused on getting Americans out of Afghanistan by August 31st, but that he was also committed to trying to evacuate as many Afghan interpreters and others who assisted the U.S. government, a goal that he said is equally important almost to evacuating Americans. Taking reporters' questions for the first time since August 10th, Biden said that he believed that the U.S. could accomplish its mission of evacuating Americans and others by an August 31st deadline, but that we're going to make the judgments as we go. He also said the U.S. government did not have any solid tally of how many Americans were still in country. Any American who wants to come home, we will get you home. That doesn't seem very detached. Hold on, perhaps it's the small text and I'm not reading it very well. Let's see, I'm going to blow this up. There you go. Any American who wants to come home, we will get you home. Biden made his remarks from the White House East Room. I don't think that's at Camp David, but I don't have a new map. His third public comments this week on the chaos in Afghanistan. Wait a minute. I thought he was detached. Third public comments this week. I thought he was on vacation. Biden said he's been in touch with the United States global allies to facilitate the safe removal of American citizens, Afghan special immigrant visa applicants, interpreters, and other allies from fallen capital city. He said that he's had conversations with UK's Boris Johnson, Germany's Angela Merkel, and France's Emmanuel Macron, and that the group had decided to convene a summit next week in the group of 7 leading industrial nations. Since I spoke to you on Monday, we've made significant progress, Biden said. The president said that as of Friday afternoon, there were some 6,000 American troops on the ground to aid the evacuation effort, and the troops were rapidly moving American assets to safety, including the evacuation of 5,700 people in the last 24 hours. He said 13,000 people have been evacuated since Saturday. Biden said his administration has also been working with several U.S.-based news organizations to ensure the safe evacuation of 204 of their American employees. The United States stands by its commitment that we made to these people, he said. On Monday, Biden defended his decision to withdraw troops. In an interview, that's the other one from Stephanopoulos. Still, the scene around Kabul's airport remains chaotic and dangerous, despite thousands of U.S. troops deployed to secure it, and many people trying to flee the country are simply unable to make it to the tarmac to be evacuated. Jarring video taken on the ground show hordes of people seeking to make it inside the airport. By the way, I appreciate that these folks are trying to leave, but these are Afghan citizens who want to leave. These aren't the families of interpreters and the like. Those people are connected with the State Department and their military personnel. And they're on a different side of the entire airport, by the way. But a lot of these folks are on the civilian side, which the Taliban has secured, and commercial and private charter flights are moving again. And then the graphic footage, taking hold of the plane's wings. No, the wheels, by the way, plummeting to their deaths. They were not clinging to the wings. I don't know what that is. But anyways, but detached, right. He's leaving. I mean, obviously he had to have been somewhere to leave. I mean, one of the things that Sean seems to be confused about is the fact that if you show Biden walking away, that means he was just somewhere doing something.
This is by every definition a dereliction of duty.
No, it's not. I mean, every definition would require him to just never show up. You know, or never get us out of Afghanistan, or never even try, which is what Trump did. Apparently that didn't bother you, though.
If Joe Biden is not up for this job, now
He is. He obviously is. He obviously is, because he's making this tough decision and going through this horrible, chaotic situation, which was inevitable by a lot of people's determination, and he had the guts to do it when your guy didn't. He had 4 years. 4 fucking years. 4 years. What was different in Afghanistan last year? Or the year before that? Or the year before that? Or 16 days after Trump took the oath? What? Anybody? What was different? What was the big deal? On the ground, materially, where was the Afghan government and the Afghan forces? How were they better this year than last year? Or the year before? How? Right? During the Trump administration, what was different? What was different in Afghanistan that we couldn't leave? I'm waiting. I mean, I know there's a couple of trolls in here who want to say something. They just can't. It must be very frustrating. What is it? What was different? The deal he struck and the leader of the Taliban that Trump got out of jail? That was different? Well, he could have done that the year before, or the year before, or the year before that, right? What was different?
About it, we've kidded about it, we've shown you the video, and then we stop laughing about it because it's...
No, you don't. You go back to making you keep saying it's not funny anymore because it never was funny, and then you get kind of like, you go back to it. Maybe it is funny. I don't know. What is funny? Your face is funny, Sean.
Funny, because seeing a Joe Biden...
Seeing a Joe, just an average Joe Biden. Seeing a Joe? All right.
Weak and frail and a cognitive mess...
Who still got us out of Afghanistan. That's weird. So Trump is supposedly the Ubermensch, the superior man, the made of all the best stuff in the whole world, is obviously has the greatest genes of any man. And yet he couldn't get us out of Afghanistan. And yet this doddering old fool who can barely put a sentence together has managed to get us the fuck out of Afghanistan. Right? Doing.
Is not good for the United States.
What's good? Staying in forever? How much longer, Sean? How much longer are we staying?
It's not good for our fellow citizens, those trapped behind enemy lines tonight.
That's the line. Trapped behind enemy lines.
And it's not good for the world either.
No, it's terrible for the world. It's terrible for the world. And by world, he means MAGA.
If he doesn't care about the lives of Americans abroad, if he's not up to this job, he needs to either step down or
be... That's the other thing. They're going to say resign or he should be impeached.
Removed.
Right. That's the other talking point that's been floating around. There's like this weird memo that all the right-wing talkers get at the same time.
Just wants to live out his remaining days on a beach in Delaware. I'm fine with that.
There are beaches in Delaware? I mean, I know there's oceanfront, but really a beach? Seems a little chilly. I don't know.
Step down, let someone more capable...
Like who? The guys who didn't do it when they had a chance, Sean?
Over. Someone that may have a sense of urgency.
Oh, like DeSantis, for example. No. He's presiding over the highest spike of deaths in Florida in the pandemic so far. And, of course, more people have died in Florida's COVID outbreak than were the margin of victory for him in his election. So that's not, I don't know who else. Greg Abbott, who, apparently that won't work.
About how
President of Mexico, even if we made him president of the United States, I still don't think he's going to pay for the wall. I don't see it happening.
dire this situation is and the amount of potential power and leverage that he has now single-handedly given a terrorist organization, and God forbid what I can think of in my mind, which
yes, God forbid anything that Sean Hannity thinks of in his mind, because whatever it is, it's gross.
will not express they could do to the Americans held behind enemy lines. We pray for those Americans, every one of them. We want.
Oh yeah, you pray for them. You do. And by the way, this is a beautiful picture, and thanks to the service person who covered this sleeping child with their jacket as they were flown off. That is, by the way, the metal right there that you're seeing. That's the floor of an airplane, of an American airplane that they're leaving. Apparently, just staying there forever, that didn't scare you at all.
Them home safely.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's, if you want to leave, we'll get you out. That's what Biden said.
Trapped in Afghanistan. We pray for our
trapped in Afghanistan. Like the last 20 years.
friends. We pray for our allies who have been
But
abandoned.
you don't pray for the president of your own country? That didn't occur to you? Sean, are you going to say that? Are you going to say, and we pray for our president, hoping that he makes better decisions, or whatever you think could possibly happen? Or is prayer just a virtue signal, to use a phrase that you know well, that you do?
And pray also that as many lives as possible, hopefully, prayerfully, every life will be saved before it's too late.
Hopefully, prayerfully, every life will be saved before it's too late. So if it's after it's too late, if you're dead, it's your ass. What?
If it does work out that way, it will be a miracle, a modern-day miracle, but it won't be because of anything Joe Biden did. Hey, Sean Hannity here.
It will be precisely. Hannity's OnlyFans is $14.99 a month. No, I think he's off there because they took hardcore stuff off. So that's the whole thing. That's the Americans stranded in Afghanistan as Biden plans another long weekend. Which, by the way, let's see. This was last night. So this is before the president's remarks today, and so you have to weigh that against how ignorant and silly they are. But this is what he's been testing. The Hannity one you will hear probably over the weekend more from his Twitter feed, and possibly Monday before the whole talking point dies by next Wednesday. A bunch of behind enemy line stuff. Yeah. And then so the next one up is and this is not Glenn Beck. There's Glenn Beck. He's on the right. And he's taken his Band-Aids off, so whatever has happened to his face is somehow healing. We never got a word. I hope it's nothing malignant. I hope it's benign, or it's simply just, I mean, if it's abuse, Sean, get help. He doesn't love you. But, in this particular circumstance, he's running with the impeachable side of it. There's a bunch of people using the impeach Biden over this because they're still stinging because Trump got impeached twice. And they just, it just stings. And then they're like, what? They're weaponizing impeachment. And then that, as soon as they can find anything that they're like, we've got something, I'm going to stick to this. We need to impeach him. Like, let's weaponize impeachment to just show how bad it is. So here we go.
What are the narratives here?
Oh.
You have Joe Biden, who's obviously bungled this beyond all recognition, and
Well, no, I recognize it. I recognize it as a static situation that changed over a period of time, over a period of about 3 weeks, and then they sped up their response, and then we're reacting to reality on the ground. It's comprehensible. I mean, military leaders are doing it right now. They've dealt with things like this before. Grenada, anyone?
credit of the mainstream media they've actually.
Oh, God. Hold on. Okay, that's fine. Hold on.
Recognize that. I mean, most of the time, most of the reporting has actually been pretty good here. They have called.
because they're slamming Biden and you're just ready to jump on it. Yeah, most of it. The part where they keep bringing up the fact that Trump made this deal with the Taliban, that rubs me the wrong way.
I've heard.
There's no way you
no way you
can't.
Right, there's no way
This
you
is
can't.
the first thing in my lifetime that I have seen that wasn't some sort of dirty backroom scandal that warrants impeachment.
Yeah, I will say that Trump's dirty backroom scandals did warrant impeachment. I'll give you that, Glenn. But why does this warrant impeachment?
Oh yeah, this
is an impeachable offense.
That's right. This is
How so?
different than hey, there's a scandal. This is just
it's
he's
not
doing
Nixie.
such a bad job.
This is not Nixon. This is not this is
No, it's definitely not Nixon. I mean, you're mixing up your presidents. You're supposed to slam with. You're supposed to say he's Carter. Go to Carter next.
I fooled around with cigars and that intern. It's none of that.
No.
It took 40 hours for Boris Johnson to get our president on the phone.
It's
40.
absolutely inexplicable.
For Boris Johnson? Why? His military leaders are talking to our military leaders about getting their folks out.
Cannot happen. They're our top ally. They were there with us through almost all of this.
Why wasn't Boris able to talk to him when he was available? I mean, I understand there's a time difference. Did that factor in?
They do not trust. No ally trusts us anymore. You
Should
think
they? I can't
we
even
have
blame
another
them.
hit on the 20th anniversary of September 11th?
We won't be in we won't be in Afghanistan.
No one will stand with us again.
Well, they won't have to in Afghanistan because we won't be there.
No one. This
Well, yeah, especially in any of the country, in country in Afghanistan, they won't stand with us. No. They won't be standing there either because a lot of them left, and the only people they had there left behind there were diplomats that we were providing security for. So,
he was a moderate. Wrong. He was going to bring us back together. Wrong.
well, no one can put you back together, Glenn. Look at you; you're falling apart.
He was.
Put your earpiece back in. What are you waiting for? Audience applause? I can't hear the crowd say my name if I have both of my in-ears in.
Was gonna bring the credibility of the presidency and the United States of America back to the world stage. Really?
Yes, and all the blue states, especially the Delta variant, is getting under control. In the red states, not so much. Obviously because Republicans don't trust Donald Trump, and it's still with them, and they can't. They're not going to get the vaccine because they don't trust Operation Fart Steed. Excuse me. I sneak up on myself when I bring it up.
Captain's log.
But for the record, what else is he not doing? Oh yeah, he's not staying in Afghanistan. That's right.
Because not a single. I'm not saying they liked Donald Trump, but at least they respected Donald Trump.
Yeah, enough to meet with him as long as he freed their leader from prison.
At least
I thought he was talking about the Taliban. Oh, you mean the allies, the people that stood around him like a petulant child going, what the fuck is the matter with you? Why are you trying to dismantle NATO? Because Russia wants you to?
They may not have liked him. They may not have wanted him to be president.
But they sure wish he was the allied commander of NATO.
They knew Donald Trump was a force to be reckoned with.
Yes, so are floods. No one wants them in the middle of their peace negotiations.
And he actually would talk to them. How is it?
Talk to who? Oh, the allies. Oh, he'd also, the problem is he would talk to the allies to tell them what the dictators that hate democracy said and went, we should be more like them.
President, because it's not like you and me are like, oh, gee, I was out at the beach and I left my cell phone in the car. There is
It's a great little sketch. It was adorable.
someone always with the president of the United States. How many times?
Yes, Dr. Joe Biden.
That's what I really want to know. How many times did Boris Johnson call?
Yeah, I want to know that too. Honest to God, Boris Johnson isn't getting his call returned?
And how many times did someone walk into the president and say, Mr. President, the prime minister is trying desperately to get a hold of you.
And he said, yeah, I'm on a call with the Joint Chiefs and my own military leaders coordinating the extraction of tens of thousands of Americans and everybody else here. Can Boris just have his military leaders talk to ours to coordinate anything they need on the ground, and I'll talk to him later? The fuck? What did he want? It's going to be fine, Boris. Boris? Yes. Yes, Mr. Johnson. Yeah. The president can't come to the phone right now. He wants to know what you need. Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, I understand that with the time difference. Well, I can read you a story if you'd like. Anything from Dr. Seuss. I mean, except the one that was obviously, there was one of the books that was taken. It's just not for sale anymore. You have a copy. Well, I can't read it from here. I have a couple. We can do the Sleep Book's adorable, or the Lorax. Would you something along those lines? Would those work? He fell asleep already. Lovely. Okay. Anyways, back to business, Mr. President.
Oh, no, nummies. Nummies, num. How many times did that happen? And
it didn't. None at all. It did not happen.
If it didn't happen, who's actually running this country?
Biden, which is why he doesn't need to yap with Boris Johnson about fuck all.
Because there's no way Boris Johnson can't get someone to walk into the president's office and say, he really needs to talk to you.
Yeah, he really does. Guys, I don't know, he's very upset, and there's a lot on his mind. It's just, this is your weekly sharing session, and I don't care if there's something crazy going on in the world. I feel... What the fuck is Biden supposed to be? Boris Johnson's anxiety dog?
He's either saying no or
yeah, he might be saying no. How about that? No.
I mean, Biden has nothing to do with this, which I don't believe, frankly. I think I don't either. I think that exonerates him from the terrible job he has done here. He is.
Yeah, they can't make up their mind. Either he's not in control, in which case it's not his fault, or he is in control and it is his fault, and they want it to be his fault, and yet they also want to say he's not in control. It's got to be rough. There's a lot of trolls today, largely because of the name of today's feed. So that usually brings them out, because it's very upsetting for them to see how, first of all, Biden is president and Trump isn't. and that he's actually getting us out of Afghanistan and Trump couldn't. Yeah. And also, Biden got an infrastructure bill passed.
I think he is in control, and that's a huge problem. I mean, sometimes we have...
Look, they're torn.
Bad thoughts, Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sometimes we have bad thoughts. All the time. I mean, this show should be called Glenn Beck's Bad Thoughts.
We have to admit these things. Sometimes...
Do you?
What
are your bad thoughts?
We get tempted by something bad, or we have a bad negative thought. Mm-hmm. I had a bad thought.
Okay.
Does it have anything to do with whatever was growing on Glenn's face?
Day.
Wash it. The first thing you have to do is lance it, release it.
TMI. Lance it? Really? You're going to bring up that word with the weird things on your face that you... All right.
Yeah.
Would it be better to actually have Kamala Harris as president? Now, I stopped myself quickly.
No, can I tell you something?
But at least I think she'd be awake.
I said that this morning. I was talking to Pat, and I said... It couldn't get worse, and everybody in the room went, "Oh, yes, it can."
And yes, I can.
And you're right, it could.
It could be a woman. I mean, he may have Alzheimer's and wander around in fields grasping at the sun, thinking it's a lollipop in the sky, but at least he's not a chick. Right, Glenn? Jesus Christ.
But at least we would know that she was there.
Right.
That
yeah, these are Biden's decisions. Well, yeah.
No idea who's running this country.
I do. It's Biden. That's why he said it's my decision, and I stick with it. Because if it was the deep state, they would have already done it. If the deep state was who Trump was fighting this whole time, and the deep state wanted to get out of Afghanistan, which is, I don't know where the fuck that suddenly flip-flopped, right? What you look at these assholes trying to be on both sides of this issue. Biden is a crime syndicate head and wants to destroy America and is more effective at destroying America in 7 months than anybody could possibly want. He's a Machiavellian figure who can knows he's undermining the America's standing in the world just by getting us out of Afghanistan. But also he's a doddering fool who can't put a sentence together, and he's not really making these decisions. It's somebody in the deep state who's probably pushing this whole thing. But the deep state is what was telling Trump what to do, and they kept him from doing what he really wanted to do. And apparently the deep state that's making Joe Biden get us out of Afghanistan was trying to get Trump to get us out of Afghanistan, so it was Trump's decision to stay in Afghanistan. This is fucking goofy.
I agree with you. The way he has...
Well, that's why you have him on the show, stupid. You don't bring anybody on the show you disagree with. That's the business model.
Defended this. I do think this was his plan.
Yeah.
I think...
Yeah?
He's 100% responsible for this.
Well, good. At least you're giving him credit for doing something. And yes, he's 100% responsible for us getting out of Afghanistan by hook or by crook. As shitty as it may seem to you, as chaotic as everything is, we're fucking getting out. Something Trump was incapable of doing. Not because he couldn't give the order, not because it wasn't materially possible. This is a can, not versus may situation. Technically, he had the ability to do it, but he was incapable of doing it.
Did you hear about the argument that our 82nd Airborne had with the SAS? Okay, so
maybe that's what Boris Johnson was calling about.
This comes from the ground.
Okay. Oh, right. Very cool. All right.
One of the commanders of the 82nd Airborne, they're in Kabul at the airport.
What are they doing there?
Actually dressed down the commander of the SAS. That's their like Delta Force.
Mm-hmm. Special Air Service.
Because the SAS and France.
So we're back to saying French fries? Cool.
France are leaving the airport and going out and getting and rescuing people. Mm-hmm. And our commander of the 82nd Airborne said to the SAS, "You're putting our deal in jeopardy."
Right, because military trucks on the road, they're worried that the Taliban will take that as an invasion force of anybody and will heighten the chance that gunfighting and violence will occur. And in our agreement currently, anyways, with them not opening fire on anybody is that they're supposed to let anybody through who has American papers. And if they don't, then that's when the extraction can happen at other sites later. But in the meantime, when you're driving through town in trucks or you're landing military helicopters in the middle of the fucking city, you're creating a chance where shit will pop off. He's not an idiot. He knows what he's talking about. And by the way, where the fuck do you think those people are going once the SAS pulls them out? They're going to the airport, and we're flying them home. How are you this dumb? Again, siding with the military decisions of another country over the military decisions of your own military. This is, God, it's hilarious.
You're causing trouble, and the Taliban...
Causing trouble. Yes. You are raising the chances that this will escalate into gunfire.
Will renege on our deal.
Right. And the deal is anybody with American paperwork, and probably French and British if they need to get in, anybody who's like a foreigner who's trying to get out of the country can get to the airport. We have a deal with the Taliban to make sure they can get through the checkpoints. Anybody with American paperwork that says they work for us or are part of our thing that shows up, you got to let them through. And if you go out there in military trucks, a bunch of these assholes, these hicks with machine guns are going to think that you're trying to take over the city again or something, and they're going to open fire.
Oh my gosh. Apparently, from what I hear from the ground...
The ground? Oh, you mean from the SAS?
Members of the 82nd Airborne are crazy angry. Crazy angry.
Are they? Which members are those?
And they should be.
Because they want...
Why? Because we are peacefully extracting people without any shots being fired, and we would like to keep that going till our people are out, because the people we are extracting are civilians. Especially. And we don't have enough bulletproof vests, for example, for all of them.
Go out and save the people.
Oh my God.
They are.
They want to go out and do what they are capable of doing. And that is...
Yeah, but you're doing it overtly, and that will raise tensions and create a military response from the Taliban, and this is so stupid.
How many people we've been doing this show, Glenn, for this entire war?
And never have you gotten to the end of it.
Entire war.
War.
This show became nationally syndicated. We signed the deal in August 2001.
And still.
So we
started the week of September 11th.
Yeah, we were scheduled to start January 2002. They moved it up till right after September 11th, after the attacks.
Because we're really going to want to hear from these guys.
This has been.
What was your opinion about going into Afghanistan in the first place? And what was your 5th year, 10th year, and 15th year anniversary shows like?
The arc of our entire show, our entire career, at least for me, and a good chunk of it for you.
Half of mine.
Yeah. And we've talked
good half
to thousands of people who have fought in that war at this point. Thousands of them that have come.
And you're not going to talk to any new ones.
Whether they've had experiences there.
2 years from now, you won't be able to interview anyone who's been fighting in Afghanistan for the last 2 years.
They've come back home and have struggled, and this audience has raised millions of dollars for them.
Right. And we care about them, and we're certainly not going to extend a situation where some of them might be called to go back in there and stay there for another 10 years. What the fuck are you asking for?
Whether it's been people who have written books telling the whole story. To a man.
Well, apparently they can't tell the whole story because it's just ending now.
All of them would say right now what they want to do is go out and get these people and get them the hell out of this country.
Yeah.
Right. However, if they do that in military vehicles, then the Taliban fighters will think the deal is broken and they will start killing people. Right now, they're not doing that, not en masse anyways. Strategy is actually valuable. Brute force is not always the answer.
We don't leave people behind.
We're not. And one of the ways we're not leaving them behind is leaving their corpse in the street because we broker a deal and then we break the deal and then the Taliban starts opening fire on groups of people and our people are in that group of people and that we leave them behind because they're fucking dead, you dolt.
That is one of our strengths. China, kill them, slaughter them, we'll make more.
Mm-hmm.
Not
That's
America.
Think, yeah.
Right. That's just why we're bringing everyone out. That's why we're talking to the Taliban and making sure we get our people out instead of playing this little fucking game where we go in and muscle up and then these idiots start firing on people and then people get killed because you wanted to do the macho exit.
It is the Judeo-Christian value.
Turn the other cheek? No, that's not the one. Don't eat shrimp? Nah, obviously you're not following that one. Don't wear 2 types of cloth on the same body. Shaving is wrong. You shouldn't trim your beard. Oh, you're not following that one. What's there's one of these Judeo-Christian. Like if somebody cuts off your ear, Jesus will put it back on.
We value life.
Oh yeah? We do. So we struck a deal with the Taliban last year for a May 1st exit without preparing for the evac of the special immigrant visa folks because we value life in a Judeo-Christian way.
All life. We say
all life. All life. All.
Soldiers on the other side. That's who we are.
Right. And
this administration and all of these CRT bull crap people.
Critical race theory worked its way into this? How the shit?
This is going to be a very difficult show.
Hey, they're all difficult, Glenn. They require thought.
Maybe this is the last one.
My gosh, all of these people are so...
Have nothing to do with what we're talking about. I guarantee right now they're not operating a racial quota system. Is there an affirmative action system as far as who's getting pulled out of the crowd?
They hate us so much. They believe that this is who we are. So it doesn't matter to them.
I don't know what that means.
America is just a horrible place anyway.
So we might as well, open fire on crowds? What the fuck is he talking about?
That just treats people horribly and they don't care. So that's what they're doing.
Is that what they're doing? Because I saw a soldier lifting a baby over a wall. I saw a kid with a little, with a jacket over them as a blanket. I heard stories of soldiers going over the wall and pulling in 167 Americans and their families. I've heard in the Judeo-Christian way that apparently instead of opening fire on all the Taliban in Kabul, we are in negotiations and in constant contact with them to make sure that Americans get through without a shot being fired so that no one has to die unnecessarily. But if they do fire on anybody, they're going to get fucked up, which is also what they got told. Not quite in the Judeo-Christian side of things, but I think we're all realists in this circumstance. My question is, Glenn, at what point, if somebody looks back at Kabul, do they turn into a pillar of salt? You look like a pillar of salt. Perhaps you can explain.
Leave it. It is.
I don't know.
We're the ones in charge now. You could be the ones who say, no, America's not like that. And we go help people.
We are helping people. And one of the ways we're helping people is by not going in using military force because we have an agreement that allows people to be extracted peacefully.
Middle of the country, and every single soldier knows what the right thing to do is.
Yeah. Apparently, the soldiers were saying, let's get the fuck out of here 8 years ago. And the last 4 years especially, everybody was like, Trump ran on getting us out. Why the fuck aren't we leaving? And the generals above him were doing these puff pieces and telling the president, telling everybody else it's fine. We need a little more time. And Biden gets in and gets this IC assessment that says the generals have been puffing this up for a while. This is very reminiscent of Vietnam. There is no there. The government sucks. The soldiers aren't going to fight. It's not going to change. And he went, all right, I'm pulling it. We're getting the fuck out. And we start doing that. And we add months to the original Trump plan to start extracting people. We close down bases. What the fuck are we going to... What are we doing with the base after? I mean, we're obviously going to strafe bomb it, and we've been blowing up parts of it since. And we're not talking about it because obviously it would rile things up as we're trying to extract people, which is kind of the point. But once all of our people are out, you goddamn right we're going to be blowing up runways.
I have news for you.
Okay, let's hear it.
If the Taliban thinks this is over, you better be very careful because
because Glenn's going to come over there and show you how to Postmate fried chicken.
These clowns are out of office. I will personally buy all of the silver bullets with the names of each member of the Taliban.
They're werewolves now? I think I want to go on a limb, Glenn, and just say that I'm fairly certain regular bullets will work. I don't think they're magic. Glenn Beck thinks the Taliban are magical, mythical beasts. And he will do fuck all. Glenn, you won't do shit, dude. You haven't done shit. You're not doing shit. Interviewing people who wrote books, who've been through real military service, and saying thank you to them while extending the war that they were in unnecessarily for years is not bravery. You're a hack. This is bullshit. Go fuck yourself. I so love having a show different from his where I can use the language I find appropriate.
I'll engrave them with my fingernails if I have to.
Well, obviously, you don't have to. There's probably some sort of service, right? There has to be a military contractor friend of Don Jr.'s that can get that done for you. They'll make them in China, don't worry.
And I would love to see them deposited in the heads of every... Oh, you remember the Taliban?
Well, sorry, what was the Judeo-Christian? We're about to see a description. This is the finest version of Judeo-Christian values we've ever seen.
Boom.
Sorry, how did it go again? I gotta say, we need to go back in here. Sorry.
Deposited in the heads of every... Oh, you remember the Taliban? Boom!
That's it. There you go. Will you do it yourself, Glenn? Can we airdrop you into Jalalabad? Where should we drop him? Just, how about this, Glenn? We'll just drop you geographically in the exact center of Afghanistan, and you can just start doing this everywhere. Listen to this macho bullshit. He first of all, he will do no such thing. Secondly, this is not an example of Judeo-Christian values or we value all life. This asshole just 10 sentences ago was saying we value all life, and then he's like, I will personally engrave the names of it. Like, first of all, you can't even pronounce the names, much less spell them. What, are you going to learn Arabic so you can write them properly? And then on silver bullets, you're wasting. I mean, how cheap is silver? Is he going to dovetail this into a precious metals ad? Bullshit, Glenn. You're a macho moron. I would call this toxic masculinity, but there's nothing masculine about you right now. This is like a marshmallow threatening you. If I had arms, I'd choke the shit out of you right now.
This is...
Yeah, he's livid. This is mean. This is mad, Glenn. I don't know. If I was the Taliban, I would be shaking in my boots right now. Look how livid he is. He hasn't been this livid since somebody gave him the shortest pencil at miniature golf.
Not us. This is not us. We were dressed...
What is us? Is us killing every member of a military force on the other side by name regardless? I mean, they're like conscripted child soldiers that are sucked up into the Taliban. There are boys taken by the Taliban, just like Boko Haram does, and forced to fight, okay? And they grow up within it, and that's their entire culture. From when they're 9 years old or 7 years old, they're scooped up. Many of them are used as sex slaves in the camps, and then they're turned into, like, battle-hardened warriors. They're on drugs. It's fucked up. And Glenn wants these young men who have been living in this version of reality to have their own engraved silver bullet that he personally shoots them in the head with. This is fucking goofy.
Down yesterday. You know this, right? About our military shooting members of the Taliban? Mm-hmm. And they were dressed down for it? You know why they were shooting the Taliban? Because the Taliban was shooting women and children. And they were in front of the gates. And so our Marines saw that and went, let's kill the bad guys. And they got in trouble for it.
Yeah? Would they get moved to a different section of the airport?
Incredible.
By the way, another thing.
Hold on. Let me... now, this is probably from Glenn Beck's sources. Let's see. U.S. soldiers shoot Taliban Kabul airport. Something along those lines, isn't it? This is from the 16th. This is 4 days ago. U.S. troops shot and killed 2 reportedly armed individuals at Hamid Karzai International Airport in Kabul, Afghanistan, and all civilian and military flights have been halted. Amid chaotic scenes of desperate Afghans flooding the airfield, hundreds of panicking Afghans swarmed and ran outside a U.S. C-17 earlier Monday as it taxied down the runway. We saw that part. And devastating video that echoes scenes of the Trade Center 20 years ago. Earlier, Afghans hanging on the C-17 could be falling to their death. With a complete evacuation closed at the embassy, the Taliban military's halting of operations. I'm not seeing where they're being dressed down. Taliban delegation lands in Pakistan as Kabul falls. Pentagon confirmed Monday that troops had killed 2 at the airport, and Press Secretary John Kirby said there are preliminary indications that a U.S. service member may have been wounded as well, but stressed he was relying on early reports. Breach the southern civilian side, panic and desperation. Uzbekistan initially reported it shot down an Afghan A-29 Super Tucano aircraft, but later corrected that statement and said the Afghan fighter had accidentally collided with an Uzbek jet escorting it. Uzbekistan said both plane pilots ejected and survived. The U.S. has sent... Geez, those those Taliban pilots are just top notch. Top notch. U.S. is sending another battalion of troops to Afghanistan. We saw this. 2,500 troops at the airport. The addition of 82nd and a Marine expeditionary unit will bring troop levels to more than 3,000 by Tuesday, according to Kirby, which it did. Obviously, we obviously don't want anyone else to get hurt. While the Taliban's been sweeping across the country, claiming province after province with little or no military opposition from American-trained and equipped government forces, the U.S. hasn't conducted an airstrike in Afghanistan in several days. According to Kirby, he declined to provide details. Yeah, because we're trying to get our people out, and we're trying to not start any shit with the Taliban until our people are safe. I know. That sounds insane.
I want you to know the government is telling you, if you're there, just get to the airport.
Right, because they have a deal with the Taliban to not fuck with any Americans or anybody aligned with the Americans or any of our allies who are trying to get to the airport, or we will fuck you up. And we won't go out with guns as long as that deal holds. The second you don't, then we're going to start sweeping streets. That's when the airstrikes happen. We would rather get all of our people out peacefully, then start the shit from the air. Just saying. I mean, if you want to save lives in a Judeo-Christian kind of a way.
Every other country is going out and getting theirs.
And bringing them to the airport that we secured and flying them out on our airplanes.
We're telling everyone, you just got to get to the airport. We are...
Right, and they're getting to the airport.
Flying planes out at 50% capacity. No one else is doing that.
Well, no one else is flying planes out.
We are. And we are abandoning all of those people there.
No, we're not.
Not on my frickin' watch.
It's not your watch, Glenn. You have no watch. It's never been, you're not even wearing a watch. There is no point, Glenn, where it is your watch. This is just dumb. Again, is this what happens? Should I take my little logo thing over there down and take my name off the screen? Is this how people lose their fucking mind over time? Is this what happens when you sit in a studio for 20 years with a goofy-ass logo behind you at all times? Do you just go all David Koresh? It's not your watch, Glenn. It will never be your fucking watch. Ever, ever, ever. You're a mouthpiece at best. You have no other job. You do nothing else. I'm lucky. I really am. I have other shit to do. Nerd Halen has shows. I have stand-up shows coming up. I will be acting again once the production of stuff starts again. No concerns whatsoever. So I don't have to rely on this for my sense of worth. I also have, family and friends and a child and things that give me, a genuine reflective feeling of worth in the world and love and something to put my effort into that I know will have lasting impact. You, however, have this weird blue studio that you just can't seem to leave, no matter how many times you try to turn yourself into some sort of Tahoe spa. Is this what it happens? Not on my watch. Get the fuck out of here.
Not with you, not with me.
Not in a train, not down the drain.
Not with the vast majority of Americans.
The vast majority of Americans in the most recent polls say we're glad we're getting out. 66%. Only 20% want to stay in. Who the fuck are those people?
No.
Yeah, you tell them, Glenn.
No.
All right. I'll have the car back by 10:30. Is there going to be a maybe?
I will tell you, last night I went to bed.
Oh, he was livid.
$20 million is a lot of money.
Is it?
And 5,000 human beings is a lot of pressure.
What?
I want to just share some of the thoughts I had last night because I think...
Yeah, I think we all want to know. And you've only got 30 seconds left. Give us 40 seconds of $20 million and 5,000 people. And all right, I don't know where this is going.
Really important.
Okay, good. Is it as important as Afghanistan?
But I give you my word, we will do everything that is moral.
Why start now?
And I can't say legal because it would be legal with the Taliban.
Well, then, they're not a recognized government. So we don't even technically, the only borders we recognize are the borders on the other side, like the Iranian border and the Pakistan border. We recognize when it starts, but we don't give a shit where it ends. That's currently the state everyone's in. And?
So, moral and legal as we understand it, not as the Taliban understands it.
Well, that's good.
We will, I don't care how long it takes us, we will get those people out.
You're not getting anyone out, dumbass. The U.S. government is. Please tell me that after this is all done, when we've evacuated like 30,000 fucking people, and we're already to the part where we're extracting people from the Pakistani side of the border, the Iranian side of the border, the Uzbekistan side of the border, or the Russian side of the border, who come across there, and we provide them with material aid as refugees, and we start running some of those folks through and going, oh yeah, I was a translator and I just ran when they came, so I'm over here and I contacted my people. I'm not in the actual country, but I'm safe here for now, but we want to eventually go to the United States or one of our allied countries, because Australia left their fucking people. I'm sure Sky News in Australia will tell us all about that. You're not going to do shit, Glenn. Honestly. I wish you would. Dump 20. Go charter a fucking flight. Fly in there yourself. Mwah. Does anybody think this asshole is going to charter a plane into Kabul airport on the civilian side to extract anyone? Nonsense. The ego. Yeah, you tell him the Blaze. Jesus Christ. That was a lot. Glenn, you're embarrassing everyone. Shut the fuck up. Look, I love a good, healthy ego. There's a reason why I played the David Lee Roth part in Nerd Halen. But seriously, not on my watch. You don't even have a sundial. All right, so there's Sean Hannity. Okay, now we move to the true heroes of the day. Two ostrich eggs in suits interviewing each other. Rudy has on Mark Levin to sell his new book, American Marxism, because, man, this is quality reading. And obviously, the book is doing well if you have to go on Rudy's show to sell it. By the way, Rudy's channel, allegedly, has 580,000 subscribers. I have, on YouTube, I have somewhere in the order of 21,000. Rudy has 8,450 views. This will top out at 10K. Half of the number of people that I have as subscribers. Most of my videos, fall into, probably a regular, at least a quarter of my subscribers watch the shows over time. And I do long form shit. This isn't a little half hour, mini podcast like he does. I mean, this is 3 hours long, for fuck's sake, most of the time. I still get better turnover than this. So I'm just saying I have my doubts about the number of subscribers that Rudy legitimately has. Best subscribers money can buy, right, Rudy? Now, I don't remember what the name of this show is, and I don't think Rudy does either.
Rudy Giuliani, and I'm back with another edition of Rudy's Common Sense.
Oh, okay, that's the name of the show. Okay, good.
And today we have the great honor and privilege of speaking to Mark Levin.
It's not a privilege. I mean, he's on a lot. He's him personally. He's not a hard get.
Mark is one of the most important voices in America, one of the most
by what metric?
influential, and right now one of the most critical.
Oh, the audio's low? I'll bring him up. Yeah, it is. Beg your pardon. Here you go.
He's written seven
Right, and as soon as I turn it up, he lets one fly.
books, almost all of which were bestsellers.
Almost.
The new one,
And by a bestseller, we mean, amongst the books, like the millions of books that are made every year, like the ones that are self-published and stuff like that.
is, I would say, a super bestseller, and maybe the most timely that he's written, American Marxism.
It's timely, is it? How long has Karl Marx been dead?
As you know,
That is a Dorito in his pocket, just in case. It's actually a slice of American cheese. He's that much of a patriot. It's in case his blood sugar drops.
a show every day. He has a television
It's
show.
a caution flag. He got a yellow card for groping on the play. There was a 15-year-old on the field.
On the weekends.
It, by the way, does not match the yellow in his tie. I'm very disappointed.
Liberty and Levin, which is
Terrible.
terrific hit.
It's a terrific hit. It's so much of a hit, you never watch it.
Good old-fashioned interview show, more like one-on-one instead of those big giant things. And
Yeah, those big giant things. The things that are big and popular that a lot of people watch. It's old school. Back when no one had a television. That kind.
get into detail with
This is the hardest sell I've ever heard.
Oh.
It reminds me of Spinal Tap's manager. Do you think their audience is shrinking? No, I just think their appeal is getting more selective.
Before that, he was a lawyer in the Justice Department.
Oh, so both of you lost your old jobs.
Practiced law, and he also
He never got good at it.
had the great privilege of working with Rush Limbaugh. And
What did he do? Was he an oxy courier, or did he help him smuggle Viagra into the Dominican Republic in his ass?
you can see that really brushed off on him. And I
It did? Ew.
can't think of anyone that is more important to us right now, because what we're going to talk about, than someone like Mark, and in particular Mark. Mark, how are you?
First of all, I'm doing great. I want to
Doing fantastic. I'm in my studio. I always am. And yet, no one turned the microphone on. So I'm using the mic in the camera like a true professional.
thank you for that very, very kind introduction.
Where is the audio coming from? Look, I know I fuck up audio sometimes, but I'm by myself here. Both of these assholes have people helping them. What is happening?
also know how much I admire you.
Oh boy, this is gonna get gross. If you really admired him, you'd sneak around to the glory hole behind him like a gentleman.
Courage, your principles, your steadfastness, all through.
And your ability to sweat motor oil, and also to fart on Jenna Ellis and give her COVID. Your steadfastness to one cheek sneak your fellow lawyers.
Your career, and
Something else.
and I want to
Keep thinking.
thank you for everything you've been doing.
Well,
Yeah, that's good. That wraps it up. I want to thank you for everything you've been doing. That really shows that you. Thanks for being specific.
so Mark,
Mark his name is Mark.
you and I know, agree that right now we are in the middle of, we can call it a broad-based attack on America, our values, our form of government,
Yeah, you can call it that. Doesn't mean it is, but sure.
our way of life.
Well, your way of life, like, you mean being a crook and getting caught? Sure, yeah, I guess the whole thing's kind of falling apart.
It shows itself in many different forms.
Doesn't it?
Attack on freedom of religion, attack on the right to defend yourself,
Freedom of religion. Oh, gay wedding cakes, sure.
attack on due process,
Due process? Asshole, they got a warrant.
standard for Democrats and not necessarily.
Cuomo just stepped down for 11 women coming out and saying that he made them uncomfortable. Trump has got 27 legitimate charges, including sexual assault against him, and you want him back in office. Different standard?
Republicans, anybody associated with Trump. Oh gosh, we could go through so many things.
Yeah, why don't you? I mean, you got some time.
But I think the value of this book is
Paperweight. It stands up on its own very well. It's very well balanced, It's like Thanos' knife.
This isn't just
full of paper.
Incidental. It's not as if all these probably 12, 13 different areas of attack are going on separately. There's a plan, there's a focus to it, and I think that's why this book, number one, is so important. And if I may say so, I think that's why it's doing so well.
It's doing so well, he has to go on your show to sell it.
Because there's a real need for it. Can you explain how you came to write it? And
okay. I'm going to guess that how he came to write it is in the introduction to the book. Usually when you write a book and you sell a book, they ask you for this, like, why are you writing the book? Why does the book need to be written? Who's the book for? And why are you the person to write it? These are what you put in your book proposal. Don't ask me how I know. And what happens a lot of times is in the writing process, you take that part of it and that becomes the introduction to the book. If somebody else doesn't write your introduction for you with a foreword by blah, 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 your introduction to it is, look, I'm writing this book because it needs to be written. This is for who it's for. This is why I'm the guy to write it. And if you'd read the book, Rudy, you would fucking know that. The fact that that's your first question means you haven't even peeked at the goddamn dust cover. It's in the dust cover. He's got the hard copy. It's in the little flap. Speaking of little flap.
It's intended to do?
Yeah, it's intended to contain words in some sort of constructive order to convey an idea, as most books are. I mean, besides the ones that you use in the back as little, that are empty, that you've cut out all the pages and you just hide hard drives full of child porn, apparently.
You know, Rudy, it's a great question.
Isn't it? That's answered by the introduction to my book and the inside of the flap and also on the back.
Depending on the situation at the time.
Yeah, I don't know, whatever you need. Sorry, I'm gonna be jumping on every goddamn sentence in this thing.
Depending on what I'm thinking about. I circle the subject for a while. I don't just start writing. I think about, okay, what do I want to say that matters?
And then you just go, nah.
What do I want to say that I should apply hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of hours of my time to researching and writing, since I do my own research and write my own books.
It's clear.
And then to ask somebody...
Introduction by Lev Parnas.
Spend $16.80 on Amazon for a book, there has to be a reason, right?
Yeah, $5.42.
I don't write about myself. That's
because no one would want to read a book like that.
We're $16.80. But that said, this book was a 16-month project. Weekends, early mornings, late at night. My poor wife and family had to put up with me. And all that said...
Well, no, they got a welcome reprieve from you, I think, is really what happened.
It wasn't until the last 4 or 5 months of writing it that everything came together, both...
Yeah, I just wrote randomly for 16 months and then came up with an idea.
Actually, and in terms of writing it and putting it together. And this title came to me, American Marxism. The more research I did, the more it led me to the same place.
Well, yeah, because you were creating a confirmation bias series of bookmarks.
You know, we talk about progressivism, liberalism, democratic socialism, thisism, thatism.
Yeah, thisism and thatism are the worst. You know what I mean? They can never agree.
And all these isms seem to lead to the same place, progressivism, which really...
Does thisism go immediately to progressivism, or does thatism?
Began in earnest with intellectuals about 120 years ago. Late 1800s, early 1900s.
Yeah, I subscribe to any economic system that was created and thought up when there was less than 1 billion people on the entire fucking earth, and most of the accumulated wealth had to do with things that were mined out of the ground. I'm just saying that maybe, just maybe, anything that is an economic system or a definition of economics it might need an addendum once the App Store was created.
They self-identify and give themselves these lovely names like progressive when they're not.
Well, it's a Star Trek kind of a thing.
And I looked at each one of these men at the time, top leading intellectuals, whether it was
top men.
Dewey or Crowley or Woodrow Wilson or whomever. And they all were very taken by Marx or taken by Marxism. And I realized sometime...
This is something that scares the shit out of people. And if I can pretend that this old thing that failed is the new thing, it'll scare everybody.
But I was able to really put it to paper that these are basically the progeny of Marxism. This is the American application
Woodrow Wilson. Talk about being cutting edge.
of Marxism. That they hate the limits in the Constitution. That's why they call living and breathing. That's why they're constantly attacking it, starting with the Bill of Rights, which of course we embrace. Then I saw...
Well, I mean, you're a little fuzzy on the whole well-regulated militia thing, but sure.
They would attack the Declaration of Independence, which is basically a statement of embracing Western Enlightenment. That's what the Declaration of Independence is. Natural law, Judeo-Christian morality, and so forth. They reject it all.
Right.
And as I read deeper and studied more, I saw an individual like John Dewey, who destroyed our education system. He was so
with the Dewey Decimal System, fucking organizing things alphabetically. What an asshole.
Time to this movement, that he actually visited Moscow in 1928.
Terrible.
You know, when Stalin was a known a killer and so forth.
And you mean before they helped us fight the Nazis?
He admired their educational system because he said it didn't focus on individualism, it focused on unity and the community and the usual stuff.
Yeah, it did at that time. Kind of fell apart later.
Not to get too deep in the weeds, Rousseau, Hegel, and then Marx, which is you have to surrender your individualism and your free will to the community, which really means the state.
Or say, on the other side of that spectrum, Ayn Rand, which you guys are huge fans of, that says, fuck the entire community. If it's not good for me, it's not good for anybody. I flush altruism down the toilet because it's actually a mental illness, as is Christianity. Ayn Rand was not a big fan of Judeo-Christian values. She thought they were a waste of fucking time. Most of the world kind of looks at those extremes and makes up their own mind about a totally different path that doesn't actually have anything to do with either of those things, just incorporates things that those things try to seize on.
That also means mobility, private property rights, all these other things that are defended and fought for at the founding, defended in the Constitution, and are based on our principles.
Right. So you go over to a country, they've got a Marxist setup or a socialist setup or a capitalist setup or whatever. You go, here's one thing they do right. Maybe we could learn what they do right, the little thing that they do right. We don't need the rest of their bullshit, but this could work. This seems like a system, like organizing our books in alphabetical order. Perhaps a card catalog would help. That seemed useful. Jesus.
I realized then that these people do not... This isn't just a debate on the fringes of the Constitution. This is a debate over fundamentals. And then I started researching things that came to be. I didn't expect it to. Critical.
Okay, you're boring me. Sorry. Normally we do all of this stuff, but we've got to. We're not going to have time. We're going to run out of time. I'm already over anyways, so we might as well jump to Trump heading to Cullman, Alabama. Cullman, Alabama is the hometown of my friend Robert Hall, who we lost a little over a month and a half ago. My dear friend, who I love very much, who passed away, and he directed it. He created, the Chrome Skull character. He's a horror director and a horror special effect guy. He, in the Jiu-Jitsu movie, he created the decapitated Nick Cage head and the throat slit effect. He covered up He created Maggie Gyllenhaal's scars in Secretary, her cutting scars, and he also covered up James Spader's tattoos in the very same movie. He was a very effective and supremely talented horror effects creator and a fucking lovely human being, and I miss him very much. And he was from Cullman, Alabama, and he did a movie called Lightning Bug about growing up in Cullman, Alabama, and wanting to be in the horror industry, and everybody in his town thought he was a Satan worshiper because he wanted to do horror movies. It was fucking awful. And Cullman, Alabama I don't know if it still holds the record, but when we filmed there, had the record of having the most churches in one town in the world, with the exception of the Vatican. Like Vatican City has more churches, per capita, I guess, than Cullman, Alabama. And they have a street where there's like these little single churches right across the street from each other. So, First and Second Presbyterians and Lutherans and like the Second Lutherans and then the 15th Lutherans twice removed. And it's just like a whole row of this fucking thing. And they have like, it's a crazy town. And it's no surprise whatsoever that Trump would decide to have it there. It's also fucking tiny and cheap. So the fact that he's having it in Cullman versus Birmingham or one of the other big cities in Alabama is also very telling, because the venue costs nothing. But let's hear him try to play up the fact that he's in Cullman this weekend. Imagine if I was like, as a stand-up, it would be hard for me to sell, I'm in Cullman, Alabama this weekend. I'm at the Chuckle Hut. Trump's at the Chuckle Hut in Cullman this weekend.
It's our honor, Rick, this hour and right now to have former President Donald J. Trump on the show.
Heavy on the former, by the way.
Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back. All right. They have a dead coyote and some sort of spinning thing over here where you can make their intern do something just crazy. That's a hoot. And then I don't know what the pinball machine is, but I'm for it. And these guys don't look at all like they've been doing this since 1990 and are completely bored.
Well, good morning, fellas. It's true. First radio show I did from the White House. That's exactly right.
Yeah, it's on the memo.
How could I forget that?
He did forget it. They wrote it on the paper right in front of him.
Mr.
That's why he's not in studio.
We got a lot of topics we want to cover with you. A lot of questions that folks want to know.
Yeah, for the next hour, but we're only posting 12 minutes of it.
First and foremost, are you going to run again in 2024, or will you be a rally man and a kingmaker behind the scene? That is the number one question we're getting from our listeners.
Well, maybe both. We've endorsed some great candidates.
Or perhaps, dare I say, neither.
And they seem to always win. Mo Brooks is one right now. He's doing fantastically well.
He's doing great. I especially like Mo Brooks cheering on and showing respect and sympathy for the dude who said he had a bomb in front of the Library of Congress. I mean, that takes guts.
He's a patriot. And we have a...
patriot. I mean, I don't know many patriots that side with people who want to blow up the Capitol, park in front of the Library of Congress, and think it's another Capitol. I don't know if you guys saw the footage of the guy, but he's like, there's a Capitol, there's another Capitol.
People that we endorse, and if you look at the record is pretty much almost unblemished, and so that's important.
Well, that's because you only sign on to people who are either running unopposed or are shoo-ins, and you get mad when the people you were told were shoo-ins lose.
And on the other, because...
He also counts any other Republican in a primary that runs, against whoever his pick is. If they win, still it's a Republican win, even though it's a Republican primary. He still considers that a win for him because a Republican won a Republican primary.
Campaign laws, you're not allowed to really say. But
no. You can say. You just can't raise money. And you have to separate from your super PAC, and you can no longer take that money out and spend it keeping your golf courses afloat. That's what announcing does. That's what messes with you.
You're going to be very happy. You guys will be very happy. A lot of people are going to be very happy when they look at what's going on. It's absolute disgrace what's happening.
Well, they will look happy, but obviously the country will be gone by then.
Right now in our country.
Let's unpack that. So
yeah, let's do it.
The tens of thousands of people are coming to hear you at this rally, and
10 of 1,000, but sure.
The rallies like it that have already happened and will take place. I mean, people already on the grounds. It doesn't even happen until tomorrow night. So
they're camping out. That's because they're not from there, buddy.
A concern that Americans have that the country is headed in the complete wrong direction. You've talked about it.
But in terms of COVID deaths, for example, in Alabama, I would agree.
Let's get on the record here. What was your plan for us leaving Afghanistan?
Yeah, tell us. Tell us what the plan was. Thank you. Call them out.
Too wanted us to get our troops out.
Right. I wanted to get out. 21 years was enough.
Yeah.
The problem is the way we got out,
Right.
that withdrawal.
Right.
Ours was going to be very simple. We get the civilians out. We get others out that need to be gotten out. That's number one. Number two is we get our billions of dollars worth of equipment out. We don't leave it for these people, knowing they're probably going to be taken over as soon as we stop fighting. So they'll probably be taken over, and the Taliban would get it. So number two is we take our equipment out, then we bomb.
So the equipment that you left for the Afghan military, after you got the people out, you would just bomb the bases with the Afghan military in them because that's our gear. Okay, cool.
Hell out of the base.
This is great. This is, I mean, Sun Tzu, I fucked them. Oh!
And then last but not least comes out our military. And
Yeah, pull the military out after you bomb the bases they're stationed on. Okay, gotcha.
Everything's done. And it would be seamless. It was simple.
Seamless and simple. I'm sure it would have gone that way.
And a first-grade student would know you have to get your civilians out first. But I was keeping the military equipment. But very importantly, what they've done is absolute. It's just gross incompetence. Look, they take the military out, and now who knows what they're going to be able to get out? Who knows? Because the Taliban has totally taken over. And we have maybe as many as 45,000 people. They have 45,000.
45,000. Not so much.
Hostages. So it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. You get your people, that's like the captain of a ship, jumping the ship before the people are off the boat. That's what we...
Well, the military are still there. I mean, he does realize there aren't U.S. citizens trapped at Bagram Air Force Base, for example.
It's crazy. A first-grade student would not do that.
Mr. President.
No, that's probably true. They would not. They would probably wipe a booger under their desk and continue with their ABCs.
Given the current status of Afghanistan,
it was 40,000 yesterday, but we evacuated 6,000 people, so now there are 46,000 people. Trump is adding anyone that gets out of the country to the number of people who are in the country. That's how 11,000 people became that we've evacuated have been added on top of the original 11,000. They got to 22,000, and then we evacuated 7,000, and then so that's 14,000. It's so stupid
right now, and it is a mess. It is a disaster. If they call you in to fix it,
if you, let's say, could fly, would you take off from the roof or the ground?
Could be done. How could we fix this?
How could we fix this? Well, I had a plan. First, you take out the people. No one will notice they're gone. Then you blow up equipment that the current Afghan military are using while it's in their hands, preferably. And then after the smoke settles, then...
relationship with a leader. You know, I get criticized by some of the radical left. Oh, he called them. Well, who are you going to call? You call the people you're against. And I had a very strong conversation with him. And then Abdul. And I said, look.
Yeah, you set the May 1st deadline, and they started this invasion across the entire country on May 2nd.
This is a story. If you do anything to hurt Americans, anything that's out of line, we're going to hit you at your town, and we're going to hit you.
Yeah, but that's what Biden said, too. That's what every president says about that stuff.
Than anybody's ever been hit before. And we got that out of...
More than anyone's ever been hit by stuff before. Do you want me to put you on with the Japanese prime minister?
And I said, do you understand that? And he said...
Yeah, we're going to do another D-Day if any of your stray bullets hits an interpreter.
That. And he did. He understood it.
Yeah, if you shoot one of our people, we're going to stay in Afghanistan with a force of 80,000 troops for another 20 years.
Had the election not been rigged, we would be in a whole different position right now. We had the strongest border, and now it's the weakest border.
Well, no, it technically isn't, but okay, continue. I mean, we're hearing this. He's on autopilot now. Do you think at some point, like half the time I think he's repeating himself, but he might just be pushing play on a tape recorder?
He had $1.87 for a gallon of gasoline. Now
when no one went anywhere?
It's going to be over $5.
It's not going to be over $5.
It's so sad to see. And then you have the Afghanistan. It makes everything look, I mean, nobody's ever seen anything like this stupid.
Apparently, nobody's ever seen anything like anything. That seems to be the recurring theme. Nobody's ever seen anything like this. I've never seen anything like this. No one's ever seen anything like this. We've seen lots of things like this over our entire. I mean, some of us have been alive long enough to remember a lot of parallels in this circumstance. You know what we've never seen anything like, though? An exit from Afghanistan, specifically. Because we haven't until now.
It would have been a whole different story, all of this stuff. Our economy's going to go to hell. So many things are happening. Inflation. I mean, the inflation we have is now through the roof. So
is it?
Look at it, and it's too bad. And
it's too bad. What's with the lateral lisp? Is this Donald Trump or is Carol Channing calling in?
Because the election was rigged, and it's a shame. And the people of Alabama know it better than anybody.
Yeah, you're calling into Alabama, so you got to say the people of Alabama. It's like when you're doing Alabama, y'all the best audience we've had in all these 49 states.
Well, there's no doubt there's a huge passion for the way that you performed as president.
That's a good way of putting it.
And certainly the state of Alabama is one of those.
Uh-huh. Now, granted, obviously, some of those very passionate supporters are dying of COVID right now.
Pockets. There's many.
Not all of them. Some, it's just their kids.
Can you explain, though, because I think we have to educate, why do we see the inflation we see now? Why do we
explain it.
See
yes, like your plan. What's the primary cause of inflation? What is the policy that's creating inflation?
Gas prices we see now, as opposed to when your administration was there. What did
you mean when nobody was going anywhere?
They undo that your administration did that gave us those things?
Yeah, well, if at all. Or was it the COVID bottleneck of supply and demand? But don't get into deep economic reads, because a lot of our people will start to smell almonds and fall over.
Well, I'd have to speak to you for about 5 hours.
Right. Well, sum up.
Some of the basic stuff. Well, first of all,
give me the basics. Give me one quote.
You saw the border. I mean, we had stay in Mexico. We had all these people coming out.
I'm sorry, inflation is caused by Mexicans. Okay, cool. That's good. Way to cut to the chase. Take a 5-hour conversation that would have eventually led to him going, we got all these Mexicans coming over here. Shit.
Emptying their prisons into our country.
That's what it is. Because Mexican rapists, when they cross the border in mass, apparently drive up the price of eggs.
Doing everything.
5 eggs! Hold on 1 second. Wait, yes, it's time.
5 eggs. 5 eggs in a month.
That's how many Mexican criminals who've been dumped out of prison eat.
5 eggs in a month.
Okay, so.
And I had this really powerful policy: stay in Mexico.
He's asking you about inflation.
They ended that. They ended catch and the catch and release that I ended. That's where you catch even a prisoner, a convict, and you release him. You're supposed to release him into our country. I ended that, and it wasn't easy. I had to go through litigation for 2 years, but I got.
Yeah, it's called process and release, and actually, it's still actually in play.
All of this stuff ended. Many of the things I did.
How's that lead to inflation, though? Does anybody know where honestly, are you smelling almonds? Burnt toast? What's happening?
Want to put back, or they have put.
Excuse me. How do you think the right would react if Biden was asked a question about inflation and he pivoted to there's too many Mexicans coming across the border?
And we now have the most open, porous border that we've ever had, where criminals are coming into our country totally.
Dude, it's Alabama. Their southern border is the ocean.
Check. But if you look at the inflation, it all starts with fuel prices.
Fuel prices? Well, we looked at the thing. It actually starts with used car prices seem to be the thing driving the number itself, statistically speaking. Energy was like 7th on the list of 10.
Done to the energy. We were energy independent 6 months ago. And now I just saw where the other day they called up OPEC. Here we go again.
Yep.
Yeah, to produce more so that Europe would buy at a lower price so that our energy producers wouldn't be selling to Europe because they would pay more for it, driving up the price here.
Called up OPEC to try and get more energy sent to our country.
No. We're not buying theirs. This was to sell to Europe so that Exxon and Chevron wouldn't sell the oil made here to Europe because they could get more money for it.
And we had so much. I even filled up the national oil reserves, which were practically empty.
Were they? Did you fill them up when gas was cheaper than free? No, you didn't. You waited till it was up to $35 a barrel. It was negative $35 a barrel. Could have filled it up then. They would have paid you to fill it up. Other countries would have paid the United States to take oil off their hands. $35 a barrel for every barrel we would take. Did he do it then? Could have. Could have written that order immediately. Could have said, issue that order right now. Whatever we need, stock up with that shit. We're filling our strategic oil reserves. Did he do that? No, he waited till the price went back up.
At time at a very cheap price because the energy was so low.
It was very cheap. Wasn't the cheapest price by $60, actually.
So we had this thing running like a finely tuned watch.
Yeah, a watch that kills 500,000 Americans in a year. It's a hell of a watch.
And now with leadership, I never realized how important the top person, the president, would be. You know?
Yeah, it certainly wasn't when you were president.
Assume it's important, and we all know it's important. But the decisions made here are absolutely horrendous. And I'll be...
Well, you have to give them credit, though. They are actual decisions, for example. Like, we're out of Afghanistan, we're getting out, that's it. As opposed to, I don't know, it's not, the generals keep telling me, I don't want to, and I keep telling them, we gotta, but they can't. Like that, because that's what we heard from 4 years of you.
Talking about that on Saturday night in the great state. I mean, I'll be...
By the way, don't forget to give a like and a thumbs up and subscribe, both, especially on Twitch, twitch.tv/Al Sparks. Thanks very much.
Alabama, and I love Alabama, so...
Yeah, it's written right there. Alabama, this is the first interview you did for when you were president. Also, Cullman, Alabama, it's this weekend, Sunday. Tickets still available.
And I guess we have a big crowd coming, but we'll be talking about everything together.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I will be covering it live, by the way, tomorrow night.
And like I say, your listeners, they get it. They get it more than just about anybody.
Yeah. The listeners of the Rick and Bubba Show in Cullman, Alabama, get it more than anybody.
Mr. President, with the COVID still raging on, we got the variants. Under your plan, warp speed, these
Oh, God damn it, I missed it. I'm sorry, I should have known it was coming.
Captain's log.
Okay, there we go.
Vaccines were developed. Talk to us just a little bit about that. Do you feel the vaccines are safe?
Does he feel the vaccines are safe?
Are you urging people?
Do you trust big tech? And I'm reading this question off of Twitter from my Apple laptop, which of course is in the gayest part of the country that they make these laptops. I don't know why I bought that or whatever. I think they only sell them at pride parades. It's very disturbing, but the damn thing works so well.
Vaccinated or not?
Yeah, number one, I want them to have their freedom. So if they
freedom to die. You should always have that freedom.
It's going to be their choice, and they work with their doctor, etc.
Work with their doctor, yeah, in case they need help lifting the syringe.
But I took it, and it's really a great achievement. You know, in 19...
It was a great achievement for you to take it. As scared of needles as you are?
17, we had the Spanish flu, and it killed up...
1918. God damn it. He did this yesterday.
100 million people.
20 to 50.
If we didn't come up with...
How many people in the United States? God damn it. It's like about under 700,000 people, technically speaking, in the United States. 680 some odd thousand. You know, the numbers back then are a little watery about everything. But he's been saying this. Oh, God.
Vaccine, the same thing would have happened. So I tell them to take it. You know,
what? If what? If what? Do what now? Excuse me, son. Do what now?
If we didn't come up with a vaccine, the same thing would have happened. So
if we didn't come up with a vaccine, the same thing would have happened. Yeah, if the Spanish flu, if we were alive in 1918 instead of 2021, we wouldn't have mRNA vaccines available to us. We wouldn't even have hydroxychloroquine.
To take it. You know, I got it done in less than 9 months. It was supposed to take 5 years.
And yet your people won't take it. That's weird. Do they not trust you? Do they think you're an asshole? Is this whole thing about Trump being amazing, is that just a story they tell their friends?
And Fauci, I'm sure you like Fauci quite a bit.
Yeah, we're going to ask you about him.
Fauci, sort of gave up on the project. He said there's just no way you're going to do it fast enough. And I got the FDA, who are a very
as emergency use. You didn't get the FDA to give it full approval anytime early.
bureaucratic, to put it nicely, organization. They don't like me too much, but I got them to move, and we got it done in 9 months. We bought billions of dollars worth of it early, and it was
because that was in the pandemic response team's plan that they left behind when you fired the pandemic response team, and then of course Congress put that in the bill when they were like, he wants $2 billion, we'll give you $8 billion.
It's been amazing. It's been really amazing, but you know, some people, it was very hurtful when Biden went out and said, let's pause. You know, they paused. They don't like Johnson & Johnson, I guess, but they paused at Johnson & Johnson.
They don't like Johnson & Johnson. It's personal. It's which Johnson is it that they hate? Is it Magic or?
Vaccine, and that hurt.
Did it? Is that the thing? Was the Johnson & Johnson pause, which lets everybody know that we're listening to any response we're getting and we're taking it very seriously. We're looking into it before we approve it. That which was literally meant to make people feel more comfortable and to look into it. But that's what stopped everything. They should have just heard about some of these cases of people having heart palpitations or myocardial infarction, beg your pardon. And they should have heard about that and then just breezed right by it and gone, I don't know who those assholes are. They probably got bad hearts anyways. Just take it.
Johnson, they think of a vaccine. That pause was very, very bad by them. And I think people don't trust Biden. That's why they're not.
Yeah, they think he's going to put magnets in
it. Because if you remember when
even though it was produced while you were president, they don't trust him?
Because
what? Because the needles are going to be dull. He's dulling the needles. That's what it is, to make it hurt more.
We were not having this problem. Everybody was rushing to get it.
Yeah, Democrats. In spite of the fact that you created it, in theory. Yeah, what was the problem then?
But I think people don't trust Biden, and that's what the problem is.
Do you also think
what it is.
Do you also think they don't trust Fauci because there's more and more people? You in the beginning, you said, all right, this is the guy. We'll let him talk. But it seemed that you lost your trust in Fauci. Give us your view of
Fauci didn't design the actual vaccines. I know you want that to be the linchpin, and Fox has done this a bunch too. But Fauci wasn't actually on the design teams for these vaccines. They were approving them, but Trump is the one that says it's safe and effective and they got it done quicker, and they were pushing him to do it even quicker than Fauci, if anybody, was one of the ones tapping the brakes. What's the argument here? Fauci doesn't work for Pfizer or Moderna or Johnson & Johnson or AstraZeneca.
Dr. Fauci.
He didn't have anything to do with the Chinese vaccine or the Sputnik Russian one.
I thought he was great from the standpoint that everything he said I did the opposite of. And
yeah, so we lost 600,000 people.
Well, for instance, I closed up the border, as you know, with China, which everybody was against, including him.
No, they weren't. We literally just saw like interviews with people who were in the Bush or in the previous administration who were part of the COVID response team who were for it. Like 2 people were like, you can do it, but you can't just do that.
I then closed up Europe. We would have lost.
Closed up Europe. Did you? Are they still closed? What time do they open?
Hundreds of thousands. We were projected to lose 2.4 million people.
If we did nothing. The 2.4 million projection, and we've talked about this before, is the projection if you have no functioning government. You're basically a failed state, like, I don't know, Afghanistan, and nobody's doing fuck all about it. No masks, no vaccines, no medical treatment. You just let it roll through. That's about how many. If you got 380 million people, you're going to lose about 2.5 minimum because of that. That's if you do nothing. That's if you, and the only person, at one point, remember last year, he was like, somebody in these meetings said, what if we just let it roll through and let herd immunity cover it? How many are we going to lose? And they said 2.4 million, and he was like, that, and they were like, that's too much. We found out later, and he admitted himself, that was him that asked that question, and he still floats it as a possibility.
And we're at 600,000. It's too much, but we were projected to lose much more. Had we let China pour into our country, if I didn't close it, And almost everybody was against me closing.
That's not even close to true.
Was there Pelosi?
Like, what is it? 28 other countries had already closed off their borders to China and travel from China. China had stopped everybody moving out of Henan province. Like,
Buddy. They called me a racist and everything else in the book.
well, they called you. They said your response. We couldn't afford your xenophobic response to this. Not that it would be, but the expectation was that it would be, and that's exactly what it was.
You know, their standard fare. But
well, that's your standard fare. So they were just it was a descriptive.
People were opposed to it. You know, look, it was a big move.
Yeah, I know, B. Gabriel. I thought it was a weapon too. It's a weapon that China attacked us with, but it doesn't exist, and you should have the freedom to die from it. And also, anybody who tells you to get vaccinated against a Chinese bioweapon is clearly working for George Soros. I don't know what the fuck. The logic escapes me at this point.
Now, to be right, and even Fauci said I saved tens of thousands of lives by closing.
Yeah, because if they didn't kiss your ass the entire time, you would stop giving PPE to people. So you heard a lot of good things about you're doing great, my lord. Oh my God, we're so lucky you're here to run things, because if you hear one bad thing, you go into your room and you won't sign shit, and technically because of our system, you have to sign things for them to happen.
The border. And then we closed it to Europe also, because we saw Italy and we saw France and we saw
someone's underpants.
Spain, what was happening. So we closed it.
And then you didn't close it to UK, which is where the primary variant came into New York.
No, I did a lot of things opposite. You remember when Fauci said, no masks, masks are bad.
No, he didn't. He just said they wouldn't be effective against a coronavirus like this because they hadn't done any full testing, so they didn't have any verification that it would. Turns out, actually, they are helpful because the science actually followed it up. People were going, well, if we're going to do this mask shit, we should do some controlled studies. So they did some all of March and April, and in May, they came out with a bunch of reports that said, indeed, wearing masks helps because even if they don't stop the smaller particles, they lower the amount of virus you're getting, and the lower the amount of virus you get, the more your immune system has the ability to fight it off or minimize the symptoms. But, science.
And now he's a radicalized masker. I mean, if you wear 5 masks, that's a good thing. So
That's supposed to be a sarcasm or a joke, but it's yet to work.
He's changed a lot. He really has.
He's changed a lot. He's definitely... And here's the thing that nobody says. That when you got a lateralist and you wear a mask, the virus just goes out the sides all over Ivanka and Eric.
Changed. But, I did a lot of things that were different. I listened to...
Yes, that's true. You did a lot of things that were different.
People, and then I formed my own opinion, basically.
Mr. President, a lot of us are very confused because...
Well, that's abundantly clear.
Twitter has banned you, but they still have the Taliban on. Can you give us any guidance on that?
Yeah, as crazy as the Taliban supposedly is, they managed to put messages up that don't violate the terms of service. They have more of a grasp of their use of the English language than you do. How is that possible?
Well, these are radical left maniacs, and they should be close.
Taliban? Oh.
Banned. I mean, what they've done...
Yeah, cancel culture is terrible. That's why they should be banned.
Is incredible to our country. What they do is just horrible and incredible. You have killers, you have murderers, you have thugs, you have bad dictators.
Muggers. You left out muggers. Yesterday, muggers made it.
You have bad people.
By the way, how many people want to bet that yesterday he meant to say murderers and he said muggers by mistake?
You have bad countries, and then they ban...
bad countries. Like Lithuania. I mean, have you ever been to their hotels? The towels are so rough.
President of the United States, who came up with the vaccine and lots of other good things. And so, it's not only them. It's Facebook and it's Google and that whole group. They're all the same. They work together, and they helped to really try and skew the election. But we got 75 million votes, more than any sitting president in history.
Well, any sitting president in history. Seriously, the lateral lisp is hysterical right now.
By far. It wasn't even close. And...
Biden won by even more.
12 million more than we got the previous in 2016.
Previous situation. Seriously, dude, get a drink of water.
So I was told if we get 1 million more votes, just 1 million, we win. We got 12.
I was told, by the election people. That's always confused me too. Like, who guarantees you, Mr. President? If you get 1 more million votes than last time, you're fucking done, bud. I mean, honestly. I mean, this election is entirely different, and more people are able to vote because of the mail-in and early voting, especially. A lot of people voted early or whatever. So, but all you need is 1 million more. I mean, the turnout from Democrats early is incredible, and it's disturbing, and they're already past that number plus 1 million. But if you just get 1 million more, and all that's going to cost you is about $40 million, and you just send it to me in Bitcoin.
And they say we didn't win, but the people know we did win. So, it's just a terrible thing. It was a rigged deal.
Well, President, one final question, and we'll let you go. If you
Yeah. This was supposed to be an hour, but
do end up, if say you do decide to run again,
will you be wearing a girdle?
And you get a chance, is there anything you would do different?
Not lose this time like that.
No, I may get to Alabama a little bit sooner. And I'll make sure that without question, you'll be my first call. But you guys have been great. No, look, what we did is I rebuilt the military. By the way, Space Force I sent to Alabama. I hope you know that.
No, he didn't.
We appreciate that. Huntsville.
Huntsville has already been Huntsville. It's Rocket City. It's been there for the Operation Paperclip. The Germans that we got out of Nazi Germany that worked on the rocket program. They like Huntsville, Alabama, because it looks like Deutschland in the springtime. Just go down there. I've been to the fucking museum there.
Very appreciative.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they said we're looking for a home. And I single-handedly said, let's go to
Single-handedly. No, it was already decided beforehand.
Alabama. They wanted it. I said, let's go to Alabama. So, and look, I love Alabama. I love what they're doing. But we've done...
I love Alabama. I don't really go there. I'm only going for a rally. I've never spent any other time there. It's like there's not a single city there I would spend a night in. But I love it.
Rebuilt the military and the biggest tax cuts in history, biggest regulation cuts in
Not true.
history. And created...
I mean, it's one thing to, big up yourself or whatever, but these are, demonstrable lies. They're just silly at this point.
This economy in the history of our world.
The biggest economy in the history of our world.
Donald Trump, thanks for being with us today, President, and thank you for your service to the country.
President and microblogger, thank you. Please don't forget to mention his microblog. How is he ever going to get the kind of traffic he needs?
You're going to love Coleman, Alabama.
Yeah, you're going to love it.
You're going to definitely love Coleman, Alabama. I spent weeks there with Laura Prepon and my buddy Robert, rest his soul. God damn it. And a bunch of real fun local people or whatever. I had a great time while we were there. It was a joy playing Deputy Dale, who's an absolute prick. And I'd like to say he might be surprised that there's big chunks of Alabama that aren't particularly welcoming to him, which is probably why he ended up doing his old lecture that he's having down there in Coleman instead of one of the bigger cities. I'm just saying. And understand that when he did his thing in Wellington, Ohio, they said he did it at the state fairgrounds. No, he didn't. He did it in the parking lot of the state fairgrounds because it was cheaper than the venue that Ted Nugent plays in the state fairgrounds in Ohio. Just letting you know.
That is Trump country.
That is Trump country. Yes, all 78 people who live there.
Go there. Just go to show notes at rickandbubba.com or just go to donaldjtrump.com. You do need to fill out that you're coming. It is free.
Yeah.
Limit 2 tickets per phone number. And
per phone number. I see.
Be tomorrow at York Family Farms in Coleman. We'll be back.
York Family Farms. Wait a second. Hold on. That's fascinating because we're almost done. We're going to be done for the day. But I would like to look at this if I may. May I? Can I please? Let's see. York Family Farms in Coleman, Oklahoma. Maps. Well, they got, hey man, look, if you're going to be there, I mean, this is the 2019 price list, so don't expect it's going to be the same. But you can get organ meat $2 a pound. That's tongue, heart, liver, kidney, and bones. I don't know if anybody's told them bones ain't organs. We'll leave it. Beef fat is 80 cents a pound. Now, because of this horrible inflation, y'all, we have had to drive that price up by the 5.4%. So it is now 83 cents a pound. But hamburger, that's $5.75. You got stew meat, $5.75. There is a difference. People say there ain't, but there is. Stir fry, which is used in Wuhan food, is just all I'm saying. Don't be ordering that right now. These are obviously 2019. We don't have that even on the list. I don't even know why that's still there. New York strip, that's some good stuff. Hold on, let's jump in here. Go back up in here. There's plenty of pictures on this thing. Closes at 8 a.m. on Saturday. There's a lot of stuff. But that's the, can we look at it? Here we go. York Family Farms on Nifong Road. Bruce Nifong Road by Lambeth. Come on down here. This is the area where, is this, hold on. Maybe it's the wrong one. Come on, let's go down here. Coleman, Alabama. That's what we're talking about. There's got to be a fairgrounds or something. Nope, that's it. I thought I was wrong, but apparently not. Nope. Oh, wait. Let's see. This is Lambeth Lane, North Carolina. That ain't right. York Family Farms, Coleman, Alabama. Well, shit. How are we supposed to find that, y'all? Come on now. Now I gotta hold on. Shit. Come on. Hey, settle down, y'all. And we're gonna find out. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Go back here. York. We go back to York Family Farms. Backing up, keep backing up. No, I guess not. All right. York Family Farms, Coleman, Alabama, Trump. There we go. Let's see. When Trump's borders rallying income on County Road. Let's see. Alabama posted an announcement Monday on the MAGAt website. Come on down. Let's do this. MAGAt Capital Club. Trump in Alabama at the York Family Farms. Click here for free ticket information, 'cause nobody'd pay to go. We tried to charge people, but the stands were all empty, and don't ask us how we know. Timeline of events. Where the hell is it? Okay, let's go. To register for free tickets here. Let's see. Now, understand, this is a rally about freedom, people. Okay? Okay? Listen up here. I don't want to hear any bullshit. It's about freedom, all right? American freedom. Kind of freedom. Freedom you have to not bring all firearms, weapons, and knives. They will not be allowed, because of America. No aerosols, so your hair better be big when you get there. Come on. Alcoholic beverages, because freedom ain't free. And anytime, Ned gets liquor in his gullet, he starts a hooping and hollering. We can't hear the ex-president. I mean current president. I don't know how to say it. Shit. Backpacks, bags, roller bags, suitcases, bags exceeding size restrictions, 12, 14. Basically, it has to fit in your Coleman carry-on. That's what we like to do. It will have to be checked into the hull of the aircraft. No fucking balloons. Every time we show up, y'all bring balloons, and then the former president gets all distracted and keeps saying hi to them. No balloons. No, especially no Mylar Mickeys. He starts waving and smiling, and then he falls off the stage. It's a mistake. This was insisted on by the Trump coordination team. No balls. Okay? No balls in the whole place. This is a Trump rally. It is ball free. No banner signs or placards. Anybody who wants to show that they like Trump, they can do it with hand signals like everybody fucking else, okay? No banners. You block out everybody else. Can't even see them. Then they have to look on the Jumbotron. We're not paying for that shit. No chairs. If you don't want to stand, do you even MAGAt? Come on. No coolers. Hot beverages only. It's August. Simmer down. No drones or other unmanned aircraft systems, okay? None. If you have your own helicopter, that's fine. But no unmanned aircraft systems, all right? No explosives of any kind, including fireworks. Talking to you, Joe. Talking to you. No glass, thermal, and metal containers. If they are glass or thermal or metal, that's fine. But if they are all three, fuck that. All right, no laser lights and laser pointers. This is a Trump rally. This ain't no TED talk. What do you want to bring next? A dry erase board? You want to, unless you have a cat you're trying to distract. If your cat makes noise, no cats. Shit, fuck it, no cat. No mace or other pepper spray. Okay? No mace or pepper spray. Okay? You take it and you like it. No noise makers such as air horns, whistles, drums, bullhorns, etc. Obviously not included. That obviously we have no way of removing that kind of personal noise maker from anybody, okay? You know what I mean? Look, I'm telling y'all, this is how it works. No, leave that at home, okay? No packages. There will be no mail service. Of course there's not going to be mail service. Did you not see the earlier one? No balls. So if we had no balls, why would there be any mail service? Okay. No poles, sticks, and selfie sticks. Pole sticks or selfie sticks are fine, but don't bring any kind of long extended thing. No long phallic stick things, and no balls. None whatsoever. This is we might need to rename this place Cuckman, Alabama. Son of a bitch. No spray containers. No hairspray. No spray paint. No off and no sunscreen. I'm not going. Fuck it. No structures, aka tents. If you want to bring a small high-rise building, that's fine. But you're going to have to bring it in by some other means other than drone. No supports for signs and placards. Why you bring in the stand if you can't bring in the goddamn sign? This is dumb. All right. No tripods. Obviously, especially if you got a long pole and balls. You can't. All right. No umbrellas. If it rains, suck it up. No appliances, i.e. toasters. And this had to be added to the list because of the last goddamn Trump rally. You motherfuckers bringing these lit easy bake ovens and thinking you can get around the rules. No, 100 times no, okay? That is, I know it's adorable, but it's still technically an appliance. There is no prohibition on gallows. That's true. And any other items that may pose a threat to the security of the event as determined by and at the discretion of security screeners. If they don't like that aluminum foil wrapped zucchini in your pants, you got to leave it outside. I'm sorry. That's just reality. You don't have to deal with it. Well, let's register for free tickets. Gonna join the thing. Where is the place out on the road? Where's this place gonna be? I just don't fucking know. I don't know where I'm going. Don't know where I'm gonna be. Doors open for 45 Fest. 45 Fest. Holy shit. They're calling it 45. Yes, tinfoil hats will be allowed because they don't technically qualify as an umbrella, especially in a lightning storm. With live music, none of that recorded bullshit. Music, food, and beverage concessions, and special guest speakers. John Toaster Jenkins will not be allowed to speak this time. Special guest speakers. Pre-programmed speakers deliver remarks. Yeah, these folks, we don't know who they're going to be. These are locals. Pre-programmed speakers start at 5 o'clock, and then he starts talking at 7. Celebrates freedom, faith, and America by making sure you don't bring any of these things into the venue. So, and let's see. I got to find, we need to find out where this is. Okay, does it have the location? Shit. Okay, York Family Farms, Cullman, Alabama. Is there a way to look this up? Look up. There you go. Come on now. Oh, that's not going to help. Let's copy it. Come on. Copy. Paste. Let's do it. Find it somehow. Maps on the place. Truly a do you? It's marking it out as the York Family Farms. No reviews, no nothing. There's nothing around. Come on now. Come on. It looks like a great place. What do you know? This is great. The president will be standing somewhere around here. And then everybody else, y'all can be over here. Get off my lawn. Yes. This is anywhere in here. The president will be somewhere in this general area. Hey man, if I have told them once, I've told them twice. It is President Trump first, puppet show last. What do you mean no bathrooms? What do you think this is? You think cows look for an outhouse? Just drop a log and go back to celebrating faith and freedom, man. Yeah, no explosives, no balls, no toasters. No nothing. No roads. If your feet get wet, no umbrellas, because what the fuck does your head gets wet if your feet are going to be stuck in mud? No, this looks great. This is fucking great. Let's go down here. See what we look for parking. Anybody? Yeah, these... if I was them, I would knock these blocks out and just drive away with the house. This is beautiful. Can we go over there? Can we see more? That's some lovely wiring. Anything over here? So I'm guessing if you have a medical incident, this all looks good. All right, maybe we can ask this feller. Hey, feller. Hey, can you... Oh, that's nothing. Is this going to stay there? Can we climb on this? Do you mind if, this thing teetering near this edge of this soft shoulder right here in the yard? Do you mind if we climb up on this thing so we can get a better view of the president? I'm sure nothing will go wrong. It is lovely land, though. It's like Kentucky without the hills and with more humidity and obviously a storm coming. This is good. If I was tuning in to go to this fucking thing, I'd be like, yeah, that's the kind of weather I would look for. Yeah, I'm so glad I'm not allowed to bring an umbrella. Holy shit. So this is where the president will be celebrating faith and freedom. What does that say? You can get your awnings done. Carter and Company. They're over here. This looks like the corner from... yeah, isn't this the road from Mindhunter where the dude killed the majorette? Thank you for blocking that out. That's obviously Secret Service because the president's still president. This is where the president... This is where he will be. This is where the Trump rally is going to be. Yeah, it's a pasture. He's speaking in a pasture. I'm sure this will all turn out very, very well. I'm certain the weather will be fantastic. I'm certain that there will be plenty of... you certainly won't need any chairs. And let's see. We're just going to ride on in. This is like Sturgis, man. This is what it's like to ride in on a motorcycle to see the president. All right. Well, we're lost again. Shit. Is that a moose? Where the fuck am I? Jesus Christ. I think I just heard the predator make a noise. Dude, what the hell are you? What the hell are you? Yeah, this will all be fine. Yeah, this is, as far as security goes for the former president, it's well chosen. There's nothing around here that could possibly pose any kind of a... Jesus Christ, what a mess. So that, in case anybody wants to go, you'll be able to spot it. You drive around, look for this, and then you should be able to get in. Yeah, just climb over the fence right there. If you're seeing any lightning, wait a couple of seconds before you jump the fence. Jump between lightning strikes. That would be the smart thing. Fucking hell. And remember, this will be, this is one of the last rallies you'll get to see the president do. So if you're gonna, this is your one last chance. So can we go in here and interview these folks? Hi, folks. Can I ask y'all a question? Get off my lawn. Papaya. What is this? What is the? Are you part of the? Where are we? Or the who? We just own this land right here. We're starting our own cult. Oh, well, that's good. I'm going to ask a silly question and end up with surrounded by lunatics. Great. So this is some of, as you can see, some of Trump's biggest supporters have already shown up, and they are already starting to gather. Also, be wary of the one-eyed banjo player. Yeah, you think you can beat him, you can't. That's one of the early speakers. It's going to be at 2 o'clock. If you get there at 2 o'clock. Oh God! So this is where the tomorrow's lecture will be. I'm sure they're going to roll out and set up a stage. I'm sure there's a lot. Sure they do this a bunch. There's got to be some sort of. There has to be, right? Right? The Branch Covidians totally describes it. Well done. Thanks very much. It's a solid move. I spent an inordinate amount of time around cows when I was a kid. So. Yeah. I'm one of those people too that whenever they see a cow and I'm walking in the South or something like that, and there's a field full of cows, I will walk up to the fence and start mooing to see if I can bring them over. Always works. It's in many ways it's the root of my excellent Wookiee. That's basically, it was probably birthed in my. And yes, I will be streaming this live. All of my commentary will be in cow for anybody who's watching. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. I have a computer to finish building. I couldn't be more excited. I will see you guys tomorrow. Yes, I'm losing my mind. Yes, I smell burnt toast. It's watching too much Mark Levin. I will see you guys tomorrow for the radio show, 9 to 11 a.m. Have a great Friday night. I will see you guys later. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. I really mean it. You guys are wonderful. I'll see you later. Okay, bye.